into the day with the dawn ringing in my ears. Oh, well, I tune into my TV show. No better way, I gotta get myself into gear. Let's go. Oh, and I feel good today with my wake up in the morning espresso. I feel good today. It's my feel good breakfast show.
Oh, a very good morning to you. It is your Monday morning and welcome to your Feel Good Breakfast Show, Expresso on S3. We've got a very busy morning lined up for you, but let me introduce myself. I'm Zoe Brown.
I'm Jamie Domberg, and yes, like Zoe said, it's going to be a very busy morning, also a very busy week because we are gearing up to Father's Day happening this Sunday. I know you're excited.
I'm very excited because I hope to at least have a video call with my dad. I'm not ready to travel just yet, but we'll definitely make sure to make Father's Day very special. And we also will be catching up with one of our regular relationship experts, Asher Dulab, and we'll also connect with podcaster of Son of a Son, Khabo Lechora, to chat about the evolution of modern fatherhood, a very, very important topic.
It's definitely a special Monday as well because it's Carl Wasey's birthday today.
Yay!
So we are sending you all the love, Carl Wasey. I know you're waking up super early just for us to say that, but happy birthday to you, Mr. Wasey.
Happy birthday, Wasey. We gave him the morning off, so he gets to enjoy to sleep in on his birthday. But there are two gents that didn't sleep in. They are here to say good morning to you.
Yeah. Good morning indeed.
Good morning.
Bright and early.
I don't know why. Since we started the discussion this morning, all I've had in the back of my head is, Luke, I am your father. We are asking exactly that. What influence did your father figure have? I know most of us have unconventional families, you know, so in some way or another, you will have had a father figure that maybe helped you develop the kind of sense of self, develop your kind of model of what it is to be. I mean, what did your...
My dad was strange, man. He was like this old school OG, so hard, never give you anything. You have to earn every single thing you get. So he's the kind of guy that I would chat to like, Dad, listen, I got Province Charles. I need this hockey stick, please. He's like the last resort. He was the final frontier before like achieving that big goal. So I don't know, in a silent way, he was like that weird motivation. He was not many tales and stories, but just silent pushing, yeah. And you?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know my dad, so I've been lucky enough to have amazing father figures throughout. My granddad was the first kind of, you know, that stereotype of what a man should be for me, which I'm so grateful for because he was this old school guy as well, but very compassionate, and that kind of shaped the way that I see the world, which I absolutely love. We want to know from you guys, who has shaped your life? How has your father figure shaped you? Let us know. We are celebrating Father's Day, it seems like every day. I thought last Friday was Father's Day celebration. We're going to do it all over again this entire week. Let us know on the Expresso Morning Show Facebook page. But right now, let's get into our news headlines, see what the day has in store.
Time now is just after 6 o'clock, time to get into those news headlines. We start with the national news first. Veteran actress Charlene Surty Richards was laid to rest yesterday afternoon at the Durbanville Memorial Park during an official provincial funeral. Now, the 66-year-old actress was found dead in a guest house in Cape Town on Monday morning. Flags across the Western Cape were at half-mast in her honour. Speakers at the funeral included June van Merch, Basil Apollos and Royston Stoffels. The Western Cape Minister of Cultural Affairs Andrew Murray and the Minister of Arts and Culture, Nathi Mthethwa, had earlier raised a flag with representatives of Surty Richards' family at the local police station. Staying with your local news as well, Higher Education Minister Dr. Blade Nzimande says his department will distribute some 50,000 laptops to National Student Financial Aid Scheme NSFAS-funded students at colleges and universities, with 22,000 arriving in the country by the end of the month. Nzimande officially launched the NSFAS Digital Learning Device Program at the South Cape College in George. Nzimande said that the digital learning platform would aid students in online learning in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic. Moving to news further abroad, the G7 group has called for unimpeded access for aid workers to Ethiopia's northern Tigray region, where the UN says some 350,000 people are living in famine conditions. The world's 7 largest advanced economies met in the UK this weekend. They also demanded an immediate ceasefire and the withdrawal of Eritrean troops. Now, earlier, Pope Francis offered his weekly prayers in St. Peter's Square for the people of Ethiopia's Tigray region plagued by hunger and famine. He also appealed for an end to global child labor. And then meanwhile, China has warned the G7 leaders that the days when a, quote, small group of countries decided the fate of the world were long gone. The comments come as the leaders meeting in England over the weekend seek a unified position over China. President Joe Biden said he wished the US-backed Build Back Better World planned to be a higher quality alternative to Beijing's Belt and Road Initiative, which has helped finance trains, roads and ports in many countries, but has been criticized for saddling some with debt. And then next, some very inspiring news from one of our own neighbors. Zimbabwean stone sculptor David Ngwerume's expressive artworks has captured the world's attention. Now, since the beginning of 2021, this qualified lawyer has spent considerable time carving pandemic prevention messages in stone. Ngwerume has gained the spotlight in the international media, and his unique approach to art has already brought him acclaim across the globe due to its exceptional way of reflecting the current dynamics facing the world. He was recently commissioned by the Africa Union, AU, to make a piece that will be on display at the AU headquarters in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. The sculpture showcases a woman seated on a chair receiving a COVID-19 jab from a dismembered pair of hands. Dubbed the Jab of Faith, Ngwerume said the piece, quote, depicts the times we are in where the world is moving toward a vaccination of all citizens as a preventative measure against the spread of the coronavirus. The sculptor said art is a reflection of perception and can convey feelings and moods in a way that words alone cannot accomplish. David Ngwerume is undoubtedly one of Africa's most prolific expressionists. On that note, that is where I leave your 6 a.m. news. I'll be back on the hour. Here is Gia, a first look at the sports.
Thanks so much, Jamie. Let's start with cricket this morning. South Africa beat the West Indies by an innings and 63 runs to take the first test on the third day at the Darren Sammy Cricket Stadium in Gross Islet in St. Lucia. Now, fast bowler Kagiso Rabada was on fire, completing a 5-wicket haul, his 10th, in fact, in Test cricket. And wicket-keeper batsman Quinton de Kock hit an unbeaten 141 to help to guide the Proteas to that win. The second test between South Africa and the West Indies will kick-start on Friday. On to rugby, the Bulls finished at the top of the Pro 14 Rainbow Cup South African standings to book their place in the North versus South final in Italy this weekend. The men from Pretoria beat the Sharks 34-22 in the final match at Kings Park on Saturday. So the Bulls will now face Benetton in Treviso in the Rainbow Cup final on Saturday at 6:30 p.m. Then on to the women's game here in South Africa. The Women's Premier Division continued with victories for Western Province, still unbeaten. The EP Queens and Boland Dames in round 6 of the competition on Saturday. Western Province, they do still remain title favourites, out and out after recording their 6th successive win, outplaying the Blue Bulls 38-5 down in Cape Town. Then the Border Ladies suffered back-to-back losses after being stunned by the EP Queens 12-8 in their Eastern Cape derby, and the Boland Dames claiming their 2nd consecutive win after seeing off the Sharks Ladies 11-5 down in Durban. Then talk about proving his championship winning credentials. He's got number 19. World number 1 Novak Djokovic won his 19th Grand Slam title. That was after fighting back to beat Greece's Stefanos Tsitsipas in the Roland Garros final on yesterday. In fact, the top seed beating the world number 5 6-7, 2-6, 6-3, 6-2, 6-4 to clinch that title. In the women's singles draw, the unseeded Czech Barbara Krejcikova, she clinched her first ever Grand Slam win after beating Russia's Anastasia Pavlyuchenkova 6-1, 2-6, 6-4 on Saturday. Then on to football. Euro 2020 kicked off this weekend and in style with big wins for Italy in the opening game, Belgium and England, and then of course the Netherlands in the European competition. On Friday, Italy thrashed Turkey 3-0 in the opener in Rome. Then on Saturday, Finland edged out Denmark 1-0 in a match overshadowed by, of course, the collapse of midfielder Christian Eriksen, who is said to be doing fine, but we'll continue to watch for updates. In other results, England overcame Croatia thanks to a lone goal by Raheem Sterling at Wembley Stadium, and Belgium recorded an impressive 3-0 win over Russia, and the Netherlands worked hard to beat the Ukraine 3-2 in Amsterdam in the late game last night. But we'll expand on all of our weekend sporting highlights in just a moment, so stick around for that. Right now though, let's see what the weather has in store for you on this Monday morning.
Thank you, Graham. And we're actually going to start it off by taking a look at your beautiful sunrise views. So thank you for sharing them with us. One of our regulars, Alan Rudnicki, shared this icy morning and picture from Sutherland showing the ice formed on the back of his vehicle. Winter is definitely settling in. And one of our other regulars, this is from Belito, Andrew Harris, who shared this stunning view as the sky transitioned from orange and golden hues to blue scattered with clouds. Absolutely beautiful. Now, if you would like to be featured in our weather segment, it is really simple. All you need to do is head on over to the Expresso Facebook page to share your photo and location with us. We would also love to see how your mornings start in your part of the country. And while we enjoy seeing the various parts of South Africa, we also love exploring and learning about the different cultures and countries internationally. So this morning, if we have any viewers tuned in from Carson City, Nevada, this one is just for you. The town began as a stopover for California-bound immigrants, but developed into a city with the Comstock Lode, a silver strike in the mountains to the northeast. The city has served as Nevada's capital since statehood in 1864. Lake wind advisory warnings have been issued for the area, and as such, small boats, kayaks and paddle boards will be prone to capsizing and should remain off lake waters until conditions improve. It is advised to check lake conditions before heading out and be prepared for a sudden increase in winds and wave heights. Consider postponing boating activities on the lake until a day with less wind. And for some news, world leaders meeting in Cornwall in the UK during the past few days have adopted strict measures on coal-fired power stations as part of the battle against climate change. The G7 group promised to move away from coal plants unless they have technology to capture carbon emissions. This after 95-year-old environmentalist Sir David Attenborough addressed the world's leading democracies and warned that humans could be, and I quote, on the verge of destabilizing the entire planet. He said the G7 leaders face the most important decision in human history. Coal is the world's dirtiest major fuel, and ending its use is seen as a major step by environmentalists, but they also want guarantees from wealthier countries on previous promises to help poorer nations cope with climate change. G7 countries account for 20% of carbon emissions. Climate change has been one of the key themes at the three-day summit in Carbis Bay in Cornwall. On that note, let's quickly look at your temperatures in South Africa. If you're in Polokwane, a sunny day ahead with a low of 6, a high of 24. Mpumbela, 11 with a high of 30. Pretoria, 8, 23. Sunny in Johannesburg, 7 is your low and 20 your high. If you're in Mahikeng, expect a low of 5, a high of 24. Klerksdorp, sunny, 4 with a high of 23. Kimberley, 8, 24. Bloemfontein, a cool 1 as a low and 23 as your high for today. Richards Bay, 15, 26. Pietermaritzburg, partly cloudy with a high of 26. Durban, 16, 23. Mthatha, 7 with a high of 22. East London, 12, 21. Cradock, 6, 25. Gqeberha, 11, reaching a high of 20. If you're in George today, partly cloudy conditions with a high of 18. Cape Town, partly cloudy with a low of 10, a high of 19 degrees Celsius. Worcester, 8, 21. Sutherland, 7 with a high of 17. And Uppington, expect a low of 13 with a high of 27 degrees Celsius. And that's where I leave your weather for now on your Feel Good Breakfast Show.
I love that, man. I believe there is a glass and a half in everyone, man. I've had my faith renewed by the incredible initiatives launched by this brand, and I love this one probably the most of all. Being able to see yourself, relate to yourself in a story is important, and the first step towards empowering a love for reading amongst children. Now, sadly, most traditional children's stories aren't relatable to the majority of South African kids or even available in an African language. 2% of our country's children can read in their own language.
But get this, by translating just one word a day, you can change this and help co-author a library full of children's storybooks in a variety of African languages. And all you have to do is visit cadbury.co expresso.co.za and follow the instructions to translate a word from English to any African language, which will then be added to one of the stories that gets published. How cool is that?
I think it's so awesome and so needed. Imagine missing out on such a valuable part of your childhood. Those stories literally make your dreams like a reality. It makes you think.
It wakes up your imagination, yeah, for sure,
man.
dude.
So today, of course, Mzansi, we've got a word for you, and we want to come through with all the translations that you can. Today's word is gold. So how would you say gold in your home language? Guys, I know obviously we're English, so gold is gold.
Gold.
Any slang words,
No, when you're going to say gold in English, you've got to be like gold.
Gold.
You gotta say like gold.
The cool status of it, just
Yeah.
like gold.
Yeah,
random
but
words?
Afrikaans, goud. Goud.
Yeah. I know, like, slang words would be like, it's mint, bruv.
Mint.
No.
It's mint, bruv.
What slang are you?
How would Nature Boy say it? What is Nature Boy language for good?
This is the earth. This is the...
Look at the shiny manna.
Manna from heaven.
I just want to know who says mint.
Come on, Jamie, mint.
No
mate.
one says mint, mate.
Me and my me and my pommy mates.
A Scouser. It's okay. Well, you can translate it into whatever language you most relate to. That's the most important part here. We want you to help us translate a word a day so that all children, every South African child, can enjoy reading tales in their own home language. You've got to do it by visiting cabri.co.za and then help to create storybooks, #in our own words. Do it today.
Only you can make my day.
With every cup, we cultivate some of the finest coffee in the world, celebrating farmers as artists, elevating every coffee moment. Because with every cup, precious coffee preserves the beauty of our world. Nespresso, what else?
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. You are live with Expresso as we delve into the weekend sporting action, and there was a lot. Of course, South Africa won the first test against the West Indies by an innings and 63 runs, made it look easy in the end. The Bulls finished at the top of the standings in the Pro 14 Rainbow Cup, the South African edition, and will now be travelling to Italy for the North versus South final. And then Western Province continued their absolute dominance, impressive form in the Women's Premier Division. Sports journalist Yolulwe Qoshe now joins us via video call with all the details. Difficult to know where to begin this morning, my brother. We were treated to some fantastic sport. Let's start with the cricket that kind of snuck up on us just a little bit, and a Proteas test team that seems beautifully balanced right now, and a dominant performance of the West Indies. What did you make of that showdown in the West Indies?
Yeah, I think that's exactly what the Test cricket side needed. A lot has been said that's been negative about them in the last couple of, and go for a long innings. We know him to be a cavalier in the crease, trying to get quick wickets, but for him to stabilize things the way that he did was actually good to see. Also shows a different side to his game, and yeah, he really came up trumps.
And Gidi in the first innings. This is starting to feel like a very well-balanced test attack. You throw Maharaj into the mix, and suddenly this is a side that can dominate.
Yeah, Graham, like you said on Friday, it's more about hunting as a pack. And I think during that game, they showed that, you know, in the first bowling innings, Gidi came with his 5-wicket haul. And Nokia was a good supporting cast. He got 4 wickets now. It was Roberto's getting his reward for putting the ball in the right areas, getting his, like you said, his 10th, 5th wicket, 5-wicket haul. And Nokia coming in with 3 more wickets, giving him 7 throughout that whole test game. So we're looking good at the moment. Maharaj chipped in very well with his spin bowling, got us some good wickets there to show that there's a good balance between our pacemen and our spinners to match what our batsmen are doing at the moment. So it's exciting times for the Pro Team.
Exciting times indeed. That next test between the West Indies and the Proteas kicks off on Friday. Let's bring it back now to rugby. Unfortunately, just one game of local rugby to savour from the men's perspective this weekend, as the Stormers and Lions had their fixture cancelled due to COVID-19 protocol, that apparently coming from the Lions camp. But we did have one match, and it was a good match. And it was the Bulls up against a Sharks side that had to rest a couple of key players, I think, because of those Springbok protocols and the resting policies there ahead of the British and Irish Lions tour. But you've got to say, the Bulls are playing a beautiful brand of rugby at the moment. Forwards fronted up, and I'm going to use Marcel Coetzee as an example because he had the captain's armband. He led from the front. He was superb throughout. A brilliant, brilliant performance. The Bulls deserve to be in that final.
Yeah, Graham, I think, like you say, Marcel Coetzee, mammoth performance from him. I think he's playing as a man who wants to prove a point, and if that's the case, he certainly went a long way. And, massive credit to the Bulls coaching staff. It shows that even without some stalwarts missing in that team, that the whole team is in tune with the game plan. They know what's required of them. They don't stray away from their strength, which is the physicality. I thought Marcel could see a massive influence in all of that, And, the Sharks must be sick of the sight of the Bulls now, especially the coach, Sean Everett. Whenever it seems like they've got the advantage, they just can't get over the line, and the Jake White-led Bulls side always finds a way to do it. That was the first time they won under Jake White at the Shark Tank, so that's going to go a massive way in boosting him as well going forward.
Yeah, man, just what they needed to boost their confidence ahead of the final. What do we know about Benetton? What are they going to find when they travel to Italy over the weekend to take part in that Rainbow Cup North versus South final?
Look, Benetton are known to have another one of those European teams with a large contingent of South Africans. Bram Steyn played for SA under 20 and was billed as a Springbok as well as sometimes a physical boy going up front in the forwards. They've got quite a few of those. And like Jake White said over the weekend, he's expecting another South African derby in inverted commas because there's so many local boys there, that are going to be braced up for that physical fight. So it's got to be physical up front. But I don't think there are many teams in the world that want to take the Bulls on physically. And I think our boys might be a bit too strong for Benetton up there, up north, and we might bring it home.
Yeah, we'd love that. I'm going to also doff my cap to the backline. The Bulls' backline played brilliantly, as typified by Cornell Hendricks, who he showed that he's still got it, man. The out-and-out pace, absolutely brilliant. But all round, an amazing weekend of sports, and we've got to also doff our caps to Western Province ladies, 38-5 over the Blue Bulls, to be continuing to be the dominant force in the Women's Premier Division. When we return, we're going to talk a little bit of football. Euros got off to a flying start this weekend. Of course, some major action at Roland Garros as well. Stick around.
Yeah, that's right. Some epic sport that happened this weekend. Of course, all the fundos are frothing and some brilliant results here. So congratulations to both winners. It was Djokovic coming through there on the clay court, of course. Now, in light of tennis, and in light of the match that went on this weekend, and in light of a lot of us doing some good activities with all the good weather that came through, we thought, why not put together an awesome little workout for you? And obviously, this is in light of, like I mentioned, Djokovic clinching that men's title, which is also the 19th Grand Slam win. And the world number 33, I think it was, Barbara Krejcikovic, she was also winning the women's title. And we thought, why not take everybody, you, Mzansi, and the rest of the world, through an awesome recovery workout using just a tennis ball, keeping the theme, of course. And it's plain, simple, and easy. So grab a ball, a hockey ball, anything that you have at home. This is something that you could substitute a foam roller with even. So if you don't have one of those, a tennis ball is the perfect substitution. So let's take you through a full body, kind of a mobility, warm down, warm up, and at the same time, we're kind of just working those muscles and getting them nice and loose.
I have a feeling this is going to hurt.
It might.
gonna hurt?
It might
Okay.
hurt. So you, Mzansi, you might enjoy all the crazy faces we start putting over here. And what the principle is with the ball is the same as what you would get from someone massaging your muscle. Right?
Okay.
So it's very important after working out, after strenuous activity, the muscle gets tight and tense, like a hard ball. We need to massage it and physically release the tension in that muscle to promote recovery.
Okay.
That also, by flushing and creating friction and heat, causes recovery to increase because the blood can come through and bring some good oxygenation and some good repair through that.
Okay.
That information was mint, mate.
Yeah, it was mint, Jamie. All right, you at home, follow along. So, very simple. We're going to start at the bottom of the body, and you can, if you want to, start with your feet. We won't be doing that for this episode, though, but more than welcome to start with rolling the ball underneath your feet just to work that fascia. What we're going to be doing is the calves. The calves are something that we use all the time, all right? So, right on the bulk, that head of the calf, you know, that the meaty part.
Yeah.
You literally want to have your foot dorsiflexed. What that means is you're pointing your toes to the sky. That's going to further stretch out the calf, all right? Now, in this position, you're going to lift your tushy up off the floor using your hands and literally just roll your leg forward and backwards, and you'll start feeling, it might be a little bit painful at first.
No,
That hurts. Oops.
feels so good.
But that's the beauty of doing self-massage with a tennis ball as well. You've got number one, gravity assisting you, and then number two, if you want, you can apply more pressure by lifting your body higher. That will increase the pressure on the tennis ball. Now you want to go for at least 30 seconds of rolling out and then move over to the other leg for balance, of course, right? How's it
You
feeling?
don't need a man anymore.
Are you replacing a man with a tennis ball?
Why do I need a man? I've got a tennis ball now.
You got your own balls, I like that. So what we're going to be doing now, working the hamstring, moving up, and the hamstring is obviously behind the quad. The quad is this leg muscle over here, the hamstring's behind it. This is something we use again when we're standing, when we're bending over, and the same principle applies. So essentially just working that hamstring with the tennis ball behind your leg, finding those lines. You have these various lines, especially with your hamstring. There's more than one muscle, so in between these little grooves, you can feel that nice deep penetration. It's really going to assist in that recovery.
It helps with stability as well, because you can actually feel the core working out just to keep yourself, afloat and keeping yourself balanced on the ball.
I love that note, Jamie, and exactly that, because you're using your upper body to stabilize you at the same time.
Balance out.
Getting that good stimulation. Now, we're going to get to something where it might be very painful. Now, this is not just the glute, but it's something called the glute med. So what you're going to do, you're going to cross your leg over and have your ankle touching your knee, all right, if that makes any sense. So we're in the cross-legged position. Now, with the legs that's bent and crossed over, what this means is that we've now exposed our glute. We've opened the glute muscle up, and we're exposing some of the smaller muscles within it, and one of them is this glute med. It's a muscle that works with abduction. It assists in so many movements, and it gets so tight, and it's a trigger point. Now, we have lots of trigger points in our body, which are these parts of the body that are just tense, and we want to try activate that point. So the ball is going right underneath the glute that's bent, all right? You're going to lift your body up once again, and in that exposed position, you want to run the ball in the same angle that your leg is facing. So
Guys, I
it's like
think I lost
45
the
degrees.
ball. I think I lost the ball, or the ball is broken.
Did your body absorb the ball?
It's too early. It's too early. Like the ball literally just went past. It was like, okay, this is what we're doing. That is
So you're right, Jamie, don't sit straight on top of it because you might get some painful little pushes up in the glute there.
Okay.
But really just support your weight. Again, we are using the shoulders, so there's good stabilization. Your core is coming into play, but we are rolling that glute nicely, okay? So once you, yes, and you'll be like Zoe or me, you'll find that spot and just goes, here we go, I found it. That's the spot. That's the spot. All right. So we're done with the lower body. Let's move over to the upper half. There's so many parts that we can work. We can work the traps, but one thing that I think we neglect too much, and I can see everyone in the studio laughing at us, like we're crawling on the floor here, making the weirdest faces, playing with balls. This is what we do on a Monday morning, people.
Just watch your mic pack.
So last but not least, mic pack's just come off here. So we're going to work the lat. And again, this is such a cool movement because you don't need to actually put a lot of energy into this. We're lying on the floor, literally just playing around like worms. But yet this is so effective at the same time.
Like worms.
Worms is a bad analogy, I know. So what you're going to do, sitting down, I'm going to basically take my arm, reach out as far as I can, onto the floor, stretching it out. Now, before the inside of this angle, which is basically your armpit, reaches the ground, you want to put the ball there to stop you, right? Now, the faces are going to be sore. Okay, be careful. So resting on that lat now, all you want to do is slide your hand forward and then bring it straight back again, all right? So it's almost like worms sliding on the floor, but yet, I don't know about you, but I'm in pain, guys.
This is amazing. This feels so
On
good.
the lat, and I'm telling you right now, I'm going to show you the difference after this workout between the two. If you guys just stand up right now and you try to put your hands up above your head, you'll literally see a difference where this arm that's been stretched can go all the way up, and this one's kind of stuck, you know what I mean? You need to release it, and this is exactly what this workout does, people. So try all of these stretches. This is a great full body that you can do. Obviously, make sure you do it on both sides. We just did the right-hand side. And go for 30 seconds of each. Go for a good release. Not too much pain, a bit controlled, but I promise you after that, your mobility, your range, everything else is going to be increased so much, and you'll have happy faces like these. I mean,
What if I
come
fall
on.
in love with my
You
ball?
don't need a man.
What if I fall in love with my ball? Okay, let's just play with my ball.
I'm all for it. I'm all for it. You don't need no man, people. Hope you enjoyed this Monday session. Get your recovery on, and let's enjoy the rest of the magic.
There we
Cheers.
go.
Nourish your skin with Ingram's Moisture Plus, enriched with triple glycerine. For 48-hour intensive moisture. Ingram's, your skin, your brave. It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back as we continue to delve into the plethora of sporting action over the weekend. Of course, UEFA Euros 2020 kicked off in style this weekend with some very exciting big wins. But the tournament was overshadowed by the collapse of Denmark's Christian Eriksen. And we'll get into that in a moment. And then Roland Garros, of course, concluded with top seed Novak Djokovic getting number 19. And then the unseeded Barbara Krejcikova winning her maiden Grand Slam title. Sports journalist Yolulwe Koshe joins us with all the details as we continue our weekend sporting chat, because it was the most amazing weekend of sport. Of course, Euros definitely in firm focus. We've been waiting to see these stars perform on the biggest stage. Before we look at some pretty impressive and interesting results, can we talk about Christian Eriksen? Obviously, the Danish star, well, I mean, from Denmark, but inexplicably collapsed for about 10 minutes, was lying on the corner of the field. Do we know what actually happened? What's been released? I hear that he is in a stable condition, but what's the official line?
Yeah, Graham, the official line is that it was a cardiac arrest. That comes directly from the team coaches. They went as far as saying they lost Christian Eriksen for a couple of moments there.
Wow.
And they're saying they didn't know for how long, and but it didn't take that long for him to come back to life. But it really was horrific scenes to see. But luckily for me, I didn't see it in real time. I was watching a bit of the rugby that saved me, but I saw a lot of the updates, and they were really worrying to see. I mean, people were fearing the worst for him, and when you see those pictures, you can understand why. But he is stable. He just released a statement saying he is feeling better, and he's just trying to understand what happened before he can talk about, going back into the field. And even a former Tottenham Hotspur doctor that used to work with him went as far as saying he doubts that Eriksson will come back and play football after this. You know, maybe he knows something we don't know about a history Eriksson might have with this, but I hope that won't be the case.
Oh, that would be heartbreaking in itself, but at least he did recover, as you say. If it came that close or actually went over the line, absolutely remarkable stuff. But as we've said, he is touted to be in a stable position. Let's talk about the action that happened on the field. We were treated to goals aplenty. Difficult to know where to begin because so many stand-up performances. Maybe I'm going to start with Belgium, who made it look easy against Russia. We mentioned the likes of, they were without Kevin De Bruyne, but Romelu Lukaku, he's one of the top scorers Serie A, and he's got 2 goals to open the Euros. He's going to be a man to watch.
Yeah, it also helps for Romelu Lukaku because it seems like every major tournament he goes into, he has to prove a point to a certain group of people that think he's a one-dimensional type of striker. They always have something to criticize about him. But he showed once again that when it comes to Belgium, he is their main man. He is the one that's going to get the goals for them. He's very respected within that team. He did well in Italy as well, so he comes into the tournament with great momentum. And he showed that on the weekend, you know. They will get stronger, Belgium, like you say, with the likes of Kevin De Bruyne set to come back. But to have a player like Romelu Lukaku firing, you've got to say that they put him in a very good position going forward for the rest of this tournament.
Yeah, definitely a dark horse in the tournament. We spoke about England and their underwhelming performances in the past, but having such a pool of talent to draw from. But it wasn't actually the Jack Grealish who we thought would get the start. He wasn't given the start. Raheem Sterling had a bit of confidence shown in him, and he did it, man. A brilliant goal. And it must be said, a pretty good performance for England up against Croatia.
Very, very good performance because Croatian teams are usually very stubborn. You know, the 3-man midfield is usually a workman-like midfield. Chelsea fans would be familiar with Kovacic there and what he can do. So to be able to break through a side like that, it shows that England can vary their game. You know, they've got players with the finesse, but they've got workman-like players as well who can break the openings, you know. Raheem Sterling, credit to him, he's coming for under a bit of fire. Like, he lost his place a bit under Pep Guardiola at Man City. Questions asked about, is he ready for this tournament? Should he be replaced by some of the young brigade that's putting up their hands at the minute? And there's no better way to answer questions than scoring like that, you know. He grew up not too far away from Wembley, sorry. He used to hear the crowd at Wembley. So for him to come in home tournament and score like that, dreams, that's what dreams are made of, so I'm happy for him with that regard.
And then lastly, very quickly, from a Euro perspective, we've been talking about, you know, the French and Portugal as their out-and-out favourites. Then Italy open up their account with the highest ever winning margin in a Euro opener. They looked superb. They were unbeaten in their build-up to the competition. This Italian side put their hand up.
With a coach like Roberto Mancini, they'll get the basics right. And I think maybe that's what the Italian national team needed for a while now. You know, they lost a couple of regimes. They didn't have too many players doing the right thing. And they were actually all moved out for Roberto Mancini to accommodate a new generation of players. So over the last couple of years, they've been getting the good results. The momentum is starting to show at a major tournament as well. I'm saying they might be dark horses. They're getting the minor things right, and it's clicking and showing in their results. And a lot of teams might be surprised by that because they won't see them coming. So I'm expecting to see a few absences from them, maybe in the latter stage of the competition too.
All makes for a mouth-watering Euros competition. Let's quickly touch on what went down at Roland Garros. Well, both finals were superb, but let's talk about the men's draw. Novak Djokovic has got his number 19. He was the first player in the history of the game since, you know, whenever to win all 4 Grand Slam titles twice. He looked his best, and the fact that he had to fight back from being 2 sets down up against Stefanos Tsitsipas in that final, a brilliant performance.
Yeah, Novak is just like that to solidify his place as the best. But if you're looking at that performance, you know, that's what character and grit does for you. A lot of people were saying when he was down 2 sets that, look, you can't beat Nadal like that in a grueling performance and come back a couple of days later to come and win the final. But he showed that, you know, and the mentality, the fight that he has is what in that game alone. So, you know, he's one to watch for that record, and I think he'll go all the way right now. He's in great shape.
Oh, it's just making Wimbledon look ever better and better by the second. And that was 9 hours of tennis in 48 hours that he played. Absolutely brilliant. And then we tip our hats to the unseeded Czech Barbara Krejcikova, who won her maiden Grand Slam title and then went on to complete the double in the doubles as well. Yolo, always so good to connect with you, my friend. We'll see you again next week.
Thank you so much.
All right, now to refill, and we are back in the kitchen. We're going to be whipping up something truly delicious with one of the most delicious ladies on screen. It's our Jenny Morris. I'm hoping it's a masterpiece.
Clover cheese is for those who love life, where everything falls into place and melts away our cares, adding joy and stretching our imagination. Clover, for the love of cheese.
Made with love by Clover.
Oh, G-Man, it's true. We're hanging out with one of the most delicious ladies on screen. It's our lovely Jenny Morris. Time for some kitchen inspiration, of course, for the perfect breakfast, brunch, or even that tea time treat, a scone or a scone. No matter what you call it, is always ideal. But our Clover Classic Cheese Scones have an elite twist, which is a delectable coffee cheesecake filling. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Jenny, good morning.
Good morning, my darling. How are you?
I'm so well. You're bringing all of the deliciousness this morning.
Totally. And I do scones.
Is it scones?
Yes.
In your household? Depending on your mood, I imagine.
Well, it depends on, yes. If I want to be something else, it'll be a scone.
I love it. But this is an indulgent version that we're making this morning, because I mean, that filling is heavenly, right?
It is. It is totally heavenly. And what I've done here to get it, and you're going to make the filling in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
But I've taken the butter and I've rubbed it, and you always use your fingertips because you don't want to melt the butter. You want to keep it still. It must look like breadcrumbs. Okay, oops, excuse me. And what we need is a little bit of rye for the occasion. So we've got some baking powder.
Fantastic.
And salt. Even though this has got a sweet element to it, you want the balance. You know, Jenny and her balance.
I love that.
And this beautiful caster sugar. If you
Could you use normal sugar if you didn't have to have caster
ask.
sugar? I mean, I don't think I've ever bought caster sugar in my life.
Well, you can make it if you have a machine that goes whiz, 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 but yes, you can. You can use ordinary sugar, just that it cooks quicker, melts better, etc. Now, we have the savory element that goes with this. Who says it's coffee and cheese? You end a meal with that.
But that's the thing. That's the indulgent bit, right? Because that cheese, when I heard cheese, I said, say less. I'm there and I'm on time for it.
Okay, so now what we want here, my baby, is to just get this all beautifully coated and that your cheese is incorporated. Now, having said that, I want you to get into that bowl of cream cheese.
Awesome.
And I want you to break it up and make it nice and smooth. Don't you even touch this.
Okay, so
until I tell you.
Okay, what is in here? What's in here?
That's cream cheese.
Cream cheese, and then we've got some
You've
caster
got some
sugar.
caster sugar
going in.
And
there.
you've got some smell it,
Vanilla
essence. Yes.
Love that. And then what is this?
That, darling, is espresso
that's
powder.
it.
That is delicious. So that's going to give you a lovely, rich coffee.
Love it.
Flavor.
What's the technique, Jenny, when it comes to mixing, you know, your mix there?
This one here is not to overmix it. The secret.
Scones are quite interesting in that way, right?
They're a little bit like a lady. They want to be handled gently. And they can be unpredictable, so if you overmix them...
And the mood will change instantly.
Well, the texture will change instantly.
And texture and mood, same story.
So you want to just sort of bring this together nicely, and then I'm going to tip this out onto the board, and not too much kneading, you know.
Okay.
And just a little bit of flour once again, because you don't want to upset.
Because you want to make sure that it's not all over the place. But listen, we're making, of course, all of this, making use of our elite taste of Clover cheese. You can add a variety of the Clover cheese range. They've got a whole range of them. Make this recipe even tastier, but also make it your own. Personalize it. Try it with the Gouda, the Tussers, or the cheddar, and adding Clover feta will give the scone or the scone more texture. Always ensure, though, very, very important, ensure that the butter is cold when making the scones. This is something I learned earlier on from Jenny Morris, and of course our kitchen fairy, Nicole Snelling's always saying that. So make sure that this is always done, because it does help create those fluffy layers and also gives it that velvety mouthfeel, which you want.
You should be a half-naked chef.
We're standing right next to the most delicious lady in the kitchen. Absolutely.
Just now have a look over here. My hands are a little bit floury, but it doesn't matter. You want to just press lightly Okay, just press lightly,
Yeah.
and then just pop them out like this, and then all we do is we go on to, you'll have a look here. There's space for them still to rise. You don't want to compress.
And I can
Press,
see
but
that's
don't
also space
compress.
for us to
Yes.
sort of cut through when we
Yes,
put that
yes.
filling.
Yeah, absolutely. And there we go, straight into the oven, nice and quick, nice and
Good to
easy.
go.
And then we just take a little bit of milk. We've got to do a glaze.
What's in here, Jenny?
Darling, now you're going to
What is-
slowly and gently, that's the
Okay.
cream, you're going to just fold it in.
Getting that in there.
And then this just goes into a really nice hot oven. The whole idea here, this is how you get rid of some of the skern mixture on your hands.
Yeah,
Put a bit
and
of
it can
flour
take a
and
while.
No, it doesn't. It just, it'll...
You put that in the oven for how long?
About 12 minutes.
12
It
minutes,
goes
good
quick.
to go.
Hot oven. Nice hot oven,
Yeah.
preheated, always on
You
the
must
middle
smell
shelf.
it.
You
Smell
must
it very
smell
quickly.
it. You'll
And that's what
smell
the
it
final
fast.
product looks like. Look at that.
I'm going to treat you to one.
The thing is, scones are never safe around me, with me around. You know what I mean?
Nothing's safe with you
So
around.
go onto our website if you want the recipe. It's expressoshow.com. It's on there with all of the ingredients you're going to need to bring this to life. And right now, I'm about to take it to
That
life.
one.
Should I take this one here? Oh, man, it's so soft.
Lick the top. That's what I normally
I'll start
do.
there.
Yes, lick it. Yummy, yummy. Yummy, mummy, in my tummy. Oh, yes. Aren't they gorgeous?
That's it. Delectable.
That's it, delectable.
When we said delectable, it was an offer, not a challenge.
So make
dear.
them. They're so easy to make. Is it good?
Love.
Now lick your finger. You have some cream on your finger. That's my boy.
Okay, now you lick some. You lick some. You gonna grab one?
I won't yet. I'm waiting for the hot one out of the oven. My God, look at this.
Clover cheese is for those who love life, where everything falls into place and melts away our cares, adding joy and stretching our imagination. Clover, for the love of cheese.
Made with love by Clover.
A healthier you starts with you and your plate. Join us on a nourishing journey by entering to be on SABC2's new show, Color Your Plate with Koo. To be part of the show, buy any 3 Koo products and send Koo5 a day to 072 741 5357 on WhatsApp. Follow the steps to load a picture of your colorful meal served and stand to win prizes valued at 500,000 rands with Koo. Koo, uzotwala.
It is your Feel Good Breakfast Show right here on S3. You're just in time to be uplifted here on this Monday. Now, EKC Worship is a multi-genre contemporary Christian worship ministry birthed out of Ecclesia Kingdom Community, a church based right here in the Mother City.
They do great work. They sound amazing. You're going to fall in love with them this morning. And this morning, music director Trevino Isaacs with Pastor Sergio Brandt, as well as worship leader Cameron Klassen. They join us in studio to tell us all about the work they've been busy with, the EKC Worship's musical journey, which has been a long and a colorful journey as well. And of course, they are our Gospel Monday guests this morning. Ladies and gents, a very warm Expresso welcome to EKC Worship. Let's hear it. Oh, yes. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you so much for having us.
First time I want to say welcome back, because we've had you on the show already. But tell us all about it. You know, EKC Worship team, you guys have, like Tabisa said, a colorful journey. Where did it all begin, and what are you hoping to achieve?
Thank you so much, Expresso team. Thank you so much for having us. It started a very long time ago, like Trevino said. I think I've been part of it for more than 20 years now, part of the church.
I mean, come on. I mean, how old are you? You must be at least 22.
I'm almost 23, though. And it's been an absolutely amazing journey for us. I think we're a diverse group of people. EKC Worship, a diverse group of people, professional musicians, non-professional musicians, and from across the Cape Flats, as well as the southern suburbs, northern suburbs. And it started as a worship team. We're not a performing band, but we do jazz. We do the first African kom. Our MD will tell you a little bit more about that.
Which is the most mind-blowing thing, right? Kom and gospel and worship just coming together.
It doesn't work, and it's not typical, so we've had to be brave at times. And fortunately, our senior pastor, Dr. Donovan, allows us to be crazy. We're a younger generation, and we want this generation to know that you don't have to go to a disco to experience great music. You don't have to go to clubs or bars or wherever, even though you do. But the church can groove as hard. So you'll see we're doing some Latin music, we're doing some gom, we're doing some jazz. Did I say jazz? Yes. Did I say, we're doing some rap stuff, we do some reggae, we do absolutely everything. And it starts with simple chords. I would get something in my head and say, Trevino, this has to be kom, or this has to be something. Can you do something with this? And it's as raw as just a voice and maybe a guitar, and Trevino puts everything together for us.
And it's really fantastic that the rest of the guys are just as crazy and they allow you to play with that, right? But you guys, obviously, in your ability to sing about just anything and send messages that are inspirational, but also very well thought out, you wrote a song in February called You Will Live. It's got a very, very specific and special message to it. Let's talk about that.
I hope I don't get too emotional about this one. This one was a very hard one. We had one of our pastor friends, Jerome Pitzer, struggling or fighting for his life with COVID-19. And with the lockdown, we couldn't meet normally as a team. And our pastor's daughter sang him a line, "You will live, you will live." And we had to meet as a team and complete the song. And so we had to do this over Zoom firstly. And we had an idea, we had the scripture, but there was so much emotional connection because this is a brother of ours, someone we know personally, that's fighting with his life, and we could not go to him, we could not see him. And so for the duration of while he was in hospital, the church was fasting with his church. And we were fasting and hoping, and the team in the background was busy writing the song that with a message for him, hopefully he would hear it, you know, and it will help him. And in no ways did we expect that he wouldn't make it through the fight. So we wrote it, hopefully that he would lay there and hear and want to fight on. Before we could finish the song, we heard of his news, and every night at 6 p.m. the church would go out and pray and join with his team, pray outside the hospital. And there's one Thursday we heard that he had passed and lost the fight against COVID-19. But we managed to finish the song, and the message is clear. There's one line that says, we will declare that you can breathe, because that's what COVID-19 does and takes from us. And let me just give it over to some of the guys.
Yeah, so a lot of the music was written, especially this last year, for people that were close to us. We wrote another song, say Bloed, which was for Selena, who passed away, also lost the battle. And so this one for Pastor Jerome hit close to home, I would say. And the song is You Will Live in Jesus' name. So it's more of a declaration that we were fighting on his behalf when he couldn't speak, when he couldn't talk. And so that is the main message of the song. But now not only for him, but for everyone else that is still struggling. And maybe some have lost the battle, but for us, we know when we pass on, it's not that we're not going to see them again. We will see them again.
They will live.
Yes, they will live.
Cameron, I want to get you in on this conversation. Obviously, today is all about uplifting, inspiring everybody. So we gave the viewers out there the poll to choose what song you guys should perform. Obviously, everyone came through We Are the Answer, the Praises Club, but Tal, You Will Live, God So Loved, obviously got 64%. Why do you think this resonates so much with Mzansi?
You know, I think Pastor Sergio came up with God to Love the World, and he literally, the church blessed him with a new guitar, and he sat and he's at his home one day, and he said, guys, you know, I got this reggae vibe going, and you know, and he was, and it came about the scripture, God so loved the world, and actually on his strap, if I'm right, it says John 3:16, and then he looked at the strap in the mirror and said, oh man, that's a song, and you know, obviously we brought it to the Maestro Trevino, put it all together, and then, you know, there we have this beautiful product called God to Love the World. And I mean, it's a song you can jam to, song you can dance to. If you sing it with so much confidence, because you believe that God so loved the world, man.
Oh, we're going to be jamming this morning, guys. I mean, we're in for such a treat this morning. A whole variety of genres coming together here on your Feel Good Breakfast show, Expresso on S3. Of course, stay tuned as EKC Worship will be performing 3 inspiring tracks for Gospel Monday in just a few moments. I love it, guys. We're in for a dance.
Yes. Oh, I absolutely love it. Now, while they get ready for their performance and get warmed up, gee, I thought, I need to warm myself up too, man. It's a little bit chilly this morning, right?
I don't want to say you look plain, okay? You don't look plain. You always look beautiful, man. But there's always an opportunity to elevate, and scarves kind of open a whole new window.
Yeah, it's like, you know, accessories in the look. To me, it's like the spice of your life. It's like the spice of your look, right? So I thought we'd go with something interesting. Obviously, I've got a maroon knit with my denims, which is kind of just casual, right?
Yeah.
So I thought, let's make this more stylish. So I don't always wear accessories because it's quite a statement, but when I do, we do it right.
You're going to do it, man.
And we're being brave and bold because I think it's quite interesting that we're using similar color palettes.
Yeah,
so
that
we're using
burgundy
maroon
shines
and
through,
burgundy,
yeah.
and all people will be like, you can't match blue with blue. What are you doing, man?
What are you doing?
Mzansi, watch this. Ta-da!
That's beautiful,
So
man.
yeah, man, I think it's literally such a small little move, of course, but look how it just elevates this look. It completely changes everything from casual to what I feel like is definitely stylish, right?
Yeah, man, it's nice and chic, nice waffle kind of
fringed
fabric.
waffle knit scarf.
It's beautiful, man. It's all about the texture. It's all about those finer details. It elevates the look, and you can do the same. You can shop online, you can shop in store, or you can use the amazing Woolies app. And I suggest you do it, man. Level up. Oh, there we go.
It's done.
A double flip. We'll see you in the
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
It's your feel-good breakfast show. It is Expresso live here on S3. It's a beautiful Monday. You've made the right choice, choosing to start the day and the week off on the right side and the right note, because EKC worship, they're going to be performing a bit later on. Right now, though, let's find out what's happening in the world. Here is Jamie with the news.
Thank you, Tabs. I'll start with those national news first. Now, President Cyril Ramaphosa says he's pleased with the commitments made at the G7 summit around COVID-19 vaccines and the global economic recovery. Speaking from Cornwall in the UK, he said the G7 leaders have pledged more vaccine support as well as boosting manufacturing capacity in the less developed world. Ramaphosa says the global south needs manufacturing capabilities since it doesn't want to depend on donations. The most advanced countries committed to share 1 billion doses of vaccines through COVAX. Ramaphosa also met with US President Joe Biden and UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson. And then veteran actress Charlene Surty Richards was laid to rest yesterday afternoon at the Durbanville Memorial Park during an official provincial funeral. The 66-year-old actress was found dead in a guest house in Cape Town on Monday morning. Flags across the Western Cape were at half-mast in her honor. June van Merch, Basil Apollos and Royson Stoffels, amongst others, spoke at the funeral. The Western Cape Minister of Cultural Affairs, Andrew Murray, and the Minister of Arts and Culture, Natim Tetwa, had earlier raised a flag with representatives of the Surty Richards family at the local police station. Moving to news further abroad, rival politicians in Israel yesterday formed a new government to remove Benjamin Netanyahu, the country's longest-serving leader, from power. After 4 parliamentary elections in 2 years, opposition leader Yair Lapid, a former TV news anchor, put together a coalition with Naftali Bennett, a former settler leader and hard-right religious nationalist. The Knesset voted 60-59 to approve the new coalition government, ending Netanyahu's 12-year rule as prime minister. Currently on trial for corruption, Netanyahu was Israel's most right-wing prime minister to date and the first Israel-born politician to become leader. And then in other international news as well, the G7 group has called for unimpeded access for aid workers to Ethiopia's northern Tigray region, where the UN says some 350,000 people are living in famine conditions. Now, the world's 7 large advanced economies met in the UK this weekend. They also demanded an immediate ceasefire and the withdrawal of Eritrean troops. Earlier, Pope Francis offered his weekly prayers in St. Peter's Square for the people of Ethiopia's Tigray region plagued by hunger and famine. He also appealed for an end to global child labor. And the next news of the Bezos brothers' envisaged space trip. During the past weekend, a mystery bidder paid $28 million, that's some 292 million rand, to be on board Amazon founder Jeff Bezos, one of the world's richest people, first crewed spaceflight by his Blue Origin company scheduled for the 20th of July. The mystery bidder's identity will be reportedly revealed soon. Now, the bidding process attracted interest from more than 140 countries. The other 2 crew members of the scheduled flight in July are Bezos' brother Mark and as yet an unnamed space tourist. Bezos said he would be taking, and I quote, "that journey with my brother Mark, the greatest adventure with my best friend." Mark, obviously a man of few words, simply stated, "it's a remarkable opportunity." The plan is to launch the Bezos brothers and 4 others more than 100 kilometers above the Earth's surface, allowing them to experience microgravity. The trip's expected to last about 10 minutes. Meanwhile, a rival space pioneer could steal a march on Bezos. Billionaire entrepreneur and adventurer Englishman Richard Branson may join a test flight of his Virgin VSS Unity space plane on the 4th of July. How ironic and what a coincidence. That's the American Day of Independence. Well, on that note, that is where I leave your 7 a.m. news headlines. I'll be back on the hour. Here is G with another look at the sports headlines.
Well, we all ponder what snacks you serve on a $23 million flight. Let's get into our sporting headlines this morning. We start with cricket, and South Africa were on form. They beat the West Indies by an innings and 63 runs to take the first test on the 3rd day at the Darren Sammy Cricket Stadium in St. Lucia. Fast bowler Kagiso Rabada completing a 5-wicket haul, now his 10th in Test cricket, and wicketkeeper batsman Quinton de Kock hitting an unbeaten 141 to guide the Proteas to that win. The second second test between South Africa and the West Indies will start this coming Friday. Then on to rugby. The Bulls finished at the top of the Pro 14 Rainbow Cup South Africa standings, and in so doing booked their place in the North versus South final in Italy this weekend. The men from Pretoria beat the Sharks 34-22 in that final match at Kings Park on Saturday. The Bulls will now face Benetton in Treviso in the Rainbow Cup final, and that's this Saturday, kicking off at 6:30. On to the Women's Premier Division in rugby. It continued with victories for Western Province, the EP Queens and the Boland Dames in round 6 of the competition on Saturday. Western Province still very much the form favourites, recording their 6th successive win, outplaying the Blue Bulls 38-5 in Cape Town. The Border Ladies, they suffered back-to-back losses after being stunned by the EP Queens 12-8 in their Eastern Cape derby, and then the Boland Dames, they claimed a second consecutive win after seeing off the Sharks women 11-5 down in Durban. Then massive drama and a brilliant performance at Roland Garros. World number 1 Novak Djokovic won his 19th Grand Slam title after fighting back to beat Greece's Stefanos Tsitsipas in the Roland Garros final yesterday. The top seed beating the world number 5 6-7, 2-6, 6-3, 6-2, 6-4 to clinch that title. Then in the women's singles draw, the unseeded Czech Barbara Krejcikova, she clinched her first Grand Slam win after beating Russia's Anastasia Pavlyuchenkova 6-1, 2-6, 6-4 on Saturday, and then went on to complete the double by winning the doubles title as well. Then on to football. Euro 2020 kicked off in style this weekend with some big wins for Italy, Belgium, England and the Netherlands in European competition. So on Friday, Italy put down a marker, thrashing Turkey 3-0 in the opener. In fact, the biggest score margin for an opening game in the tournament's history. And then on Saturday, Finland edged out Denmark 1-0 in a match that was, of course, overshadowed by the collapse of midfielder Christian Eriksen. In other results, England overcame Croatia thanks to a lone goal by Raheem Sterling at Wembley Stadium. And Belgium, they also sent out a clear message, recording an impressive 3-0 win over Russia. And then the Netherlands worked hard to beat the Ukraine 3-2 in Amsterdam in the late game last night. That's where we leave our sport for this hour. Let's see how the skies are looking in your neck of the woods.
And a big thank you to each of our viewers that take the time to share their sunrises photos with us. Kicking off our 7 a.m. update, we have this beautiful image filled with hues of reds, orange and pinks, and this was shared by Gary Arsenic from Cape Town. Next, we also have a very special shout out to one of our viewers, Marcel Myrick, who sent us a holla all the way from New York City. Now, we love hearing from our viewers based locally and internationally, and if you would like to be featured in our weather segment, it is really simple. Just head on over to the Expresso Facebook page to share your gorgeous sunrise photos and location with us, and we would love to see how you start your morning wherever you may be. And while we enjoy seeing the various parts of South Africa, we also have to explore and learn about different cultures and countries internationally. So this morning, if we have any viewers tuned in from the small town of Medicine Park, located in Comanche County in Oklahoma, the USA, this update is just for you. Founded in 1908, many of the original structures are constructed of naturally formed cobblestones, and these red granite cobblestones are unique to the Wichita Mountains. As of 2019 census conducted, the town has a population of only 299 people. And today, the town of Medicine Park can expect a very warm day ahead, with times of sun and then becoming cloudy in the afternoon. A maximum of 25 degrees Celsius is forecasted for today. And what is seen as a major step guarding the environment, Swiss citizens yesterday voted in a referendum that could see their country become the second in the world to ban synthetic pesticides. Now, supporters of the ban say the artificial products lead to serious health problems and reduce biodiversity. The first initiative, entitled For a Switzerland Free of Synthetic Pesticides, calls for a nationwide ban within 10 years. Under the second, For Clean Drinking Water and Healthy Food, only farmers who forego pesticides and most antibiotics could be eligible for government subsidies. The amount of liquid measure used on farms could also be limited as part of the efforts to curb water pollution. This, as it is estimated that 1 million Swiss people drink contaminated water. Switzerland's system of direct democracy means all major decisions in the Alpine nation are taken at the ballot box. And polling stations closed at 12 p.m. local time, but as most people were expected to vote by post, no result is known as yet. Well, on that note, let's quickly look at your temperatures across South Africa. If you're in Polokwane, a sunny day can be expected with a low of 6, a high of 24. Mbombela, 11 with a high of 30. Sunny in Pretoria, 8, reaching a high of 23. Johannesburg, 7 with a high of 20. It's sunny in Mahikeng today, 5 is your low, 24 your high. Klerksdorp, 4, reaching a high of 23. Partly cloudy in Kimberley, 8, 24. Bloemfontein starting off a cool 1 with a high of 23 for today. If you're in Richards Bay, 15 is your low, 26 your high. Pietermaritzburg, 9, reaching a high of 26. Durban, 16, 23. Mthatha, 7 with a high of 22. East London, 12, reaching a high of 21. Partly cloudy in Cradock today with a high of 25. Gqeberha, 11, reaching a high of 20. George, 11 with a high of 18. Cape Town, 10, reaching a high of 19. Worcester, 8, 21. Sutherland, 7 with a high of 17. And Uppington, expect a low of 13 and a high of 27 degrees Celsius. If you have a beautiful good morning photo to share with us regarding your sunrises, please do so on the Expresso Facebook page.
I love it. Love the weather. Love the fact that we can still warm up.
It's feeling amazing.
It's a good day in Mzansi today, of course, and even better, we've got a beautiful week ahead to prepare for something special this weekend.
Yes,
Tubbs,
indeed.
yeah, it's Father's Day, of course. Now, dads and dad figures around should be celebrated, of course, and with Dad's Day, our Father's Day around the corner, we cannot make it any easier for you to spoil your dad by giving them the opportunity to win. Guess for what is it?
It's $1,000. It's a Woolworths gift card valued at 1,000 Rand. Now, we really do want to make sure that you get that gift card in your hand. What you need to do is reply to the competition post on the Expresso Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram accounts. We have splashed it across every single one of our platforms for you to enter. And of course, with your personal Father's Day message, that's all we want. It's simple. Don't forget to add the hashtag, though. It's hashtag Willie's Dad's Day.
Yeah, and don't forget the competition closes at 9 a.m. Your T's and C's can be found on the expressoshow.com, so there's only one thing to do. Hurry up, get entering. Your time's running out.
Hey, Daddy, over here.
Oh,
over there.
thank you, my son.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Joy.
I am proud of the dad I've become. I'm amazing, an incredible specimen of fatherhood. There's nothing wrong with doing the school run in my pajamas. You've got this, Dad.
We have been warning you up the entire Monday morning, but multi-genre contemporary Christian worship ministry EKC Worship is ready. They are here to perform their first song for us this morning. They will be taking to the studio floor to perform their yet-to-be-released second Afrikaans single, Die Prijs is Klaar Betaal. This track officially will be released on the 18th of June as a testimony from the church's pastor and serves as an encouragement to everyone that the price has already been paid. So please welcome EKC Worship with Die Prijs is Klaar Betaal.
Goeiemôre Suid-Afrika. Net daar waar jy is, gee die Here goue prys want ons bring vir julle goeie nuus vandag om te sê dat die prys is klaar betaal. Jy hoef nie te bedel nie, jy hoef nie te baken nie. Die Here het jou so baie lief. Die prys is klaar betaal vir jou. Luister mooi. Hy is nie hier om te bedel nie, hier om te baken nie. Die prys vir my lewe is klaar betaal. Ek is nie hier om te bedel nie, hier om te baken nie. Die prys vir my lewe is klaar betaal. Klaar betaal, klaar betaal, klaar betaal. Die prys vir my lewe is klaar betaal. Dis klaar betaal, klaar betaal, klaar betaal. Die prys vir my lewe is klaar betaal. Kom ons sing hom saam.
Ek is nie hier om te bedel nie, hier om te baken nie. Die prys van my lewe is klaar betaal.
Messia. Hier om te bidden, hier om te bang, hier om te bang. Die prijs van mijn leven is klaar betaald. Is klaar betaald, klaar betaald, klaar betaald, klaar betaald. Die prijs van mijn leven, die prijs van mijn leven is klaar betaald. Is klaar betaald, klaar betaald, klaar betaald, klaar betaald. Die prijs van mijn leven, die prijs van mijn leven is klaar betaald. Op Golgotha, Golgotha, Golgotha. Waar de Heer gesterven heeft voor jou, ja. Jezus klaar betaald op Golgotha. Golgotha, 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 Golgotha. Die prijs is klaar betaald. Die prijs is klaar betaald op Golgotha. Ik wil maar eens voor jullie zeggen, als dit niet voor jou blij maakt, weet dit dat die Heer heeft die prijs voor jou betaald. Jij hoeft niet te winnen, jij hoeft niet te baken. Zuid-Afrika, geef die Heer een prijs, net daar waar jij is. Hey, hij is waard om geprijsd te worden. Kom eens, wat hem zo een beetje hoor, dames. Hey, het is klaar betaald, klaar betaald, klaar betaald. Die prijs van mijn leven, ja. Die prijs van mijn leven is klaar betaald. Klaar betaald op Golgotha. Klaar betaald, klaar betaald, klaar betaald. Is klaar betaald. Die prijs van mijn leven is klaar betaald. Golgotha, Golgotha, Golgotha. Die prijs is klaar betaald. Die prijs is klaar betaald op Golgotha. Golgotha, 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 Golgotha. Die prijs is klaar betaald op Golgotha. Het is klaar betaald, klaar betaald. Zet ons handen bij elkaar in die plek. Hey, hey. Die Heer heeft klaar die prijs betaald. Hey, hij is zo baie lief voor jou. Net daar waar je is, geef hem al die prijs, want die prijs is klaar betaald op Golgotha. Amen.
Ultimate accessory, the latest shiny thing, mesmerized, trying to keep up, but never getting ahead in an endless cycle of spending. In this world of constant upgrades, do you want a bank that takes your money or a bank that takes your money seriously?
approach Youth Day, we are very excited to see organizations who are taking real action amounting to real change. Now, at the forefront of making that difference in the lives of others is My School, My Village, My Planet. If we look at the current situation, we are faced with an all-time high in youth unemployment and then an equally drastic shortage in qualified, passionate teachers. But one incredible initiative is now bridging this gap by helping young, hard-working students become passionate teachers and support them with the necessary skills and funds that they need.
That's right, and here to tell us all about the Dream to Teach Scholarship Fund and how you can support is Helene Brandt, the Marketing and CSI Manager for My School, My Village, My Planet, Helette Pieterse from the Mad Leadership Foundation, and Ronel Totse, who is currently studying to become a teacher through this incredible program.
So good to be connecting with all of you. I've been lucky enough to kind of get a window into the inner workings a while ago. Now more than ever, we understand the importance of teachers and how important it is to, yes, have amazing teachers, but also to address unemployment. And Alette, I'm going to start with you. Obviously, Dream to Teach Scholarship is something that is making a massive, massive difference. And the Mad Leadership Foundation is using this to change lives. Can you give us a bit of background?
Yeah, so we are fortunate as an organisation to have amazing partners such as My School and the Dream to Teach Scholarship Fund, which gives us the ability to identify passionate young people who really want to make a difference in education and in the lives of other young people. And we've partnered with My School, with the Dream to Teach Scholarship. We provide all the support, the funding for the studies, and we just help our future teachers develop into young leaders who can make a difference in other young people's lives.
And they'll definitely be able to do that, especially in a teaching position, and I love that. Helene, why did My School decide to come on board to help them to become teachers?
Well, South Africa is currently faced with a very unique dilemma. The fact that we have a teacher shortage in South Africa is very worrying. And teachers have the opportunity not only to impart knowledge, but to be leaders in their communities, in their classrooms, to affect generations of young people. And at the same time, as you mentioned, youth unemployment is rife. And yet there are thousands of young people who are passionate and want to build careers in education. So we really just need to bring these two seemingly insurmountable challenges together and see it as an opportunity to help young people achieve their dreams.
Yeah, the challenge is the answer. And it's one of those, you just got to connect the dots and have the right kind of resources behind you. And we've got Ronel on the line via Zoom. Great to be connecting with you this morning. As I understand it, you are currently studying to become a teacher through the scholarship program. How has it made a difference in your life? Is this really bringing your dreams to life?
My dream was the pure fantasy at the first place, and I was just there as a little kid, liking to play school and imagining myself to become a teacher one day. And when I grow up, I feel like, you know what, that's what I want to do when I grow up. So because I was so passionate about this thing, Mad Leadership Foundation called me when I was in university, and it felt like, congratulations, Ronel, you are now selected to be part of the Mad Leadership Foundation program. That line really changed my life, because now I was like, you know, Ronel, you can be at ease. These people are actually joining hands with you and your family. They are going to invest in your future, and they are going to make your dream come true. And that actually changed my life as an individual, or my fantasy, which was to become a teacher, would actually become a reality.
I love that, Ronel. And you can hear her passion. She's going to be such a wonderful teacher. And Helene, I love this. And for anyone watching right now and they want to be part of the Dream to Teach and be able to contribute to this fund, how can they do that?
I think that's really where we are right now. Is currently 20 students are part of our scholarship program, but there is such a much bigger need out there. We really need more South Africans to back the Dream to Teach Scholarship Fund. It is as simple as when you sign up for your free My School card, select the Dream to Teach Scholarship Fund as the organisation you want to support, and when you're out shopping at Woolies, online at loot.co.za, swipe your card and a contribution is made on your behalf, and you can know that every rand that you raise is going to contribute to individuals like Ronel and many others, so we can reach more young people.
Having dealt with the Mad Leadership Foundation a lot, that money is going to be in very good hands. The structures are sound. They've got a proven working model.
Absolutely.
It's been so good to connect with all of you. Ronel, we send you nothing but love and light and all the best of luck with the remainder of your studies. What do you want to teach? What's the end goal here?
I'm part of the foundation phase. So teaching has foundation phase, intermediate phase, and then senior phase in equity. But I am there dealing with the little ones. You see those young ones? Yeah. Those ones who are always crying and running up and down. I am part and managing that.
I've no doubt you are the right, perfect person, in fact, for the job. All the best of luck to you, and thank you so much to all of you for joining us this morning.
Thank you. And Youth Day, it should be a day of celebration, but it should also be a day of action. Yeah. Sign up to My School, My Village, My Planet. Choose Dream to Teach as your cause to support and make a difference with every single swipe. It is absolutely free to you, but it will also mean the world to someone else.
Thank you, G and Zoe. Well, I'm smiling because it's time. It is time to grab your coffee and hold on to your omas, because we have the dashing Uncle Tabsy over here and Mr. Nature Boy himself, Raldemone, in the hot seat this morning for another round of the 5-second game. Today, you guys are playing for the Choc Chip Oma Rusks. Yeah. You know already.
My faves.
And the theme? Something you don't know anything about, my friend.
Okay,
it's
time here now.
It's time after time.
Actually, I'm winning this. You have no idea anything about time. No concept of time whatsoever.
Do you know what time it is?
What time?
To keep quiet and listen to the moderator.
Nature Boy, I will start with you first.
Okay.
Name 3 times of day.
The morning, sunset, gym time.
Sunset is not a time.
It's like the end of the day. That's the time.
I mean, I'm sure the answer you were looking for is morning, afternoon,
and evening. But I mean,
certain.
Well, your days are boring. I have. You have all the.
How dare you insult the game's master? That is minus 2 points for you. Tabsy.
Yes.
Name 3 winter months.
May, June, July. August.
August. So that
June, July, August.
We are on a bad start with both of you, so it's going to be equal playing fields. No one gets the point.
What's the
Back to you, Rao.
June, July?
Hey?
June, July, August.
Oh.
I think so. That's what they say. Nature Boy, name 3 ways to kill time.
Self-love, feed yourself, read a book.
Kill time.
3 ways to kill time, like self-love.
I have so much time on my hands. Let me love myself.
Okay, boo-boo.
You see, you guys have boring days. What do you do with your time?
You really you shouldn't wait to have extra time to love yourself. Well, I'm concerned.
Any extra time I get, I'm spending it on me.
Uncle Tabsy, to you now.
That's sad.
Name 3 ways you love spending your time.
Sleeping, binge watching series, and partying.
Which is true. Yeah. All of that is true. And I'm going to give you an extra point just because you're so honest this morning.
Yeah, I mean...
And you can do all of that before a show.
Raldemone, back to you. Name 3 things that are fast.
Fast. The weekend, me, and... man, clearly not me, actually.
Really not you, eh?
Useless today.
Fast enough, just not fast enough. Third answer. Uncle Tabs, name 3 things that are slow.
Trucks on the fast lane. Snails.
The time is fast this morning, James Master, by the way.
The time is going, it's 5 seconds.
This is not even 3, it's not 5 seconds. I think they're giving us 3 seconds.
Yeah. I think that your minds have not yet registered.
We got weekend mind.
I think it's still equal playing field for both of you.
We can
maybe just one.
Let's start this game. Let's go.
Raldemone, name 3 things to do in the morning.
Breathe, count your blessings, and set your intentions for the day.
Ryan is such a weirdo.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
So, you don't breathe any other time.
Just in the morning. Just in the morning. Just a little bit
you don't love yourself other times. You don't breathe. I mean, I'm so worried.
You should be worried for your answers now because your question is, name 3 things that are a waste of time.
Ooh. Say your name. Phone calls. Say your name. Phone calls.
Say one answer 3 times does not get you 3 points. Wow, come on, at least one,
Yo,
my
this is
friend.
actually a
Just
shocking
like one. Raul,
This
back
is
to
making
you.
us look really bad, eh?
It is, Omar. I'm
This
sorry
is-
as well. I do want you, though.
Apologize to Omar. Look at Omar and
do want you,
apologize. Because you guys are just depressing us right now. This is the last round. So obviously winner takes it all. Come on. Come on, step it up.
You got this.
Raul,
Yeah.
for the last round, name 3 ways you can check the time.
On your watch, on the TV, or... Can you tell me the time, please, Jamie?
Asking someone.
Well,
Okay.
everything is like
You don't wear a watch on the side?
What is... Oh, it's not a watch.
That's not a watch. Ooh, Uncle Tabsy, I think that you already win this round just because of this answer, but I'm going to ask it to you anyway. Name 3 reasons why you're always late.
Traffic, load shedding, traffic lights out of order. Always.
Are you going to
My
blame the
area.
traffic every single
My
day?
area. Do you know my area?
Please
Do
tell
you
us
know
this area.
Frans Conradi, Jake's Hervel? Do you know that's long straight?
And at 5 in the morning, there's so many cars.
People from that area work hard. They leave at 4 a.m. We are always on the road at 4, but we sit on traffic for a while.
Wow. Anyway,
It's actually quite
the
terrible.
lies that you
Please.
tell. And I thought we're starting off this note on honesty, but I guess not. But there is a winner. The winner is? No. Raul the Morning.
Come here,
You can
Omar.
share with him.
How are you doing?
But he'll probably be late for it. He'll probably be late. But of course, for you at home, speaking of time, we want to know what your favorite time of day to dip in Oma is. Now, you can share your answer with us on the competition post on the Expresso Facebook or Twitter page using the hashtag dipping time. Now, the winner will walk away with the Oma Russ hamper and 1,000 Rand in cash money. Remember, every entry also gives you an entry into the grand prize draw to win the Smeg hamper worth 12,000 Rand. Now, all of those T's and C's can be found on our website, expressoshow.com. So happy entering to all of
Can
you.
I say something quick? Can I promise, Ryle and I are really a lot smarter than what we've seen this morning
yes, I
during
second
this
that.
game. I promise.
Who are you lying to?
Anytime is dipping time when it's with the ones you love.
If a cozy winter blanket brings a glow to your face, it's a lifesaver for children and families in need. So partner with us and Game to help Gift of the Givers and the Homestead Project for Street Children wrap a new blanket around every cold set of shoulders that we can. Donate to any new blanket in collection boxes at select Game stores nationwide up until the end of June. And obviously with COVID-19 regulations meaning only new ones are accepted, each blanket is going to be a treasure to someone. Welcome back. You are live with Expresso as we delve into medical matters this morning. So yesterday, Sunday, the 13th of June, marked International Albinism Awareness Day, a vitally important day. Everyone has a name. Albinism is a rare condition with 1 in 4,000 babies being born with albinism, and many of our brothers and sisters with the condition are unfortunately still made to feel separated because of the color of their skin, and that's at the lighter end of the scale of the kind of treatment that is being dished out.
Yes, that's right. And Dr. Siamak Saleh, who's got quite the following on TikTok with nearly 1 million followers and over 4.8 million likes, joins us on the couch to educate us a bit about this condition. Doctor, it's so great to have you here.
Thank you for having me again.
I think from a medical perspective, we need to define albinism. I think just to get it out there.
Okay, so albinism is a genetic inherited condition. It is non-contagious and results in the body being unable to produce melanin, the pigment that gives you skin color, hair color. So generally people with albinism are very pale.
Are there physical and health issues related to the condition? Is it simply just the pigmentation, or are there other kind of genetic traits as to the
So
condition?
people with albinism generally they have a normal lifespan, normal IQ. They are generally healthy people, except they almost always they have problems with vision because melanin plays a role in the optic nerve development. So this can lead to people developing skin cancer easier. They need to visit ophthalmologists to either wear glasses, sort out their visions,
Okay. And you mentioned that this is genetic. How is the gene passed along?
Okay, so it's an autosomal recessive. Basically means you must be a carrier. So you're not necessarily showing symptoms, but if both parents are the carriers, then there is a 25% chance of passing it to offspring.
Is there a way to test that you're a carrier of the gene?
I was reading about it. It is difficult to test, but if you are pregnant, then there are ways to test. I mean, it's difficult to test beforehand, but once you're pregnant, it's possible.
I've got to ask on a personal note, because this is something that you jumped on and wanted to be a part of. Why is this such a vitally important issue for you?
So in this country, people with albinism face a lot of discrimination and stigma because of the misconception that are in this country, the witchcraft, that they believe people with albinism are like punishment from God. They are being attacked and killed, whether because they are bad luck or they use the body parts to get super powers. So I'm glad that's why I came here, to raise this awareness, especially that I'm on leave. I was like, I need to do this. I have to do this,
No, it's a vitally important conversation to have, even if it's just to break the stigma attached with a condition that is quite prevalent here in the country. We're going to continue and I want to find out exactly how prevalent it is here in South Africa and globally. We're going to continue the conversation with the good doctor in just a moment. We've got another segment coming. If you'd like to pose any comment or question, you are more than welcome to do that. You can let us know on our Expresso Morning Show Facebook page. How common is the condition here in South Africa?
So the condition in the world is around 1 to 20,000, but in South Africa, actually in Africa, is more common. I think some countries 1 in 1,000, but in South Africa around 1 in 4 to 5,000.
What is there a reason for that? That it's so like in terms of statistically, like looking at overall globally, why Africa and particularly South Africa's statistics are so much different?
I actually haven't gone through this, but I think the stigma is more in Africa because of the difference between the skin colors from very pale to dark skin.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it ramps up more. We're going to talk more about the psychological kind of attachment to the condition, what it means for the family as well that is going through this. We are commemorating World Albinism Day that was celebrated yesterday, and we're going to continue our discussion with the doctor. And if you'd like to weigh in, you're more than welcome. Let us know on our Expresso Morning Show Facebook page. If you've got any comments, maybe a real-time observation within your own life, we'd love to hear from you this morning. Let us know.
Now, you know that saying where they say the proof is in the pudding, right? But now for this, the proof is definitely in the eating. And I'm telling you now, this recipe is going to be an absolute bliss. Let's check it out.
creamy decadence of double cream bliss from Clover. Yogurt has never been so irresistible.
Made with love by Clover.
Yeah, you heard it. I guess you guessed it too. When life gives you lemons, you make a Clover Bliss lemon meringue yogurt pudding. Does that not sound good? Now, this sumptuous delight comes together with just a few ingredients. And here to show us how it's all done is the beautiful, illustrious Jenny Morris in the building.
Listen, this is cupboard love. And the other day you had no clothes on in the kitchen. I saw you.
We should do that more often, apparently. We've got some good views, no?
No, not with me. You haven't.
Oh, okay. Well, I owe you one, I guess.
You owe me.
So what are we doing here? What magic are we making? You're being naughty in the kitchen.
What I'm doing is I've creamed some, not even creamed it, just have mixed the sugar and the butter together. And then we just get our egg whites mixed into this. Now, you're going to mix the egg whites, and I'm going to just bring the egg yolk together, yes, and just cream it up nicely. And then I'm going to start flinging everything together.
I've never really worked one of these things, Mzansi, so
DIY.
Step aside. All right, so I'm just whisking up the whites, right?
Yeah.
What's the actual reason for this, by the way?
Well, it aerates and it makes it beautiful and light, almost like a souffle.
Oh, so we're going to get that fluffy puffiness kind of thing. All right.
Absolutely. But I don't want meringue, darling. I don't want meringue, okay? And I'm going to just add some flour and some milk to this. And we're going to make a nice little batter. And then lemon zest. Not that we really need the lemon, because the Clover Bliss is just so lemony and yummy.
Yeah, that double cream is just perfect for this as well.
Absolutely.
10 vitamins to add to it. So it's not just a little dessert. It's actually good for you too.
It's a good dessert.
Yeah. Jenny, how am I doing here with my whisking?
My darling, you're doing very well.
Am I whisking you away?
Darling, you can whisk me away anytime you like. You're such a flirt. Now, have a look. This looks a little bit runny, but it's not. See, once I start adding the lemon juice, it's going to bring it together, that lovely acidity in there, and then the lemon zest. And then, of course, last but not least, our delicious. You can do some more. Do some more. I'll tell you when to stop.
Let me whisk you away some more.
I shall tell you.
I must just say, just looking at the ingredient list, though, it seems like these are mostly pantry staples.
Pantry
you're using eggs, milk, butter.
Absolutely.
Obviously, a staple should be your double cream clover as well, if you don't have it in your fridge.
Do you know what I love about this? It actually doubles up as breakfast. It doubles up as baking. It doubles up as everything. It's divine.
Yeah, I like that. And clearly, when you're doing something like this is like a traditional meal as well. Meringue.
Meringue, yes.
Is another name for this one, and a lot of people will be able to identify with that. Our dearly beloved Mark Lottering claimed that frame, and it's something that's just been a staple in our homes. Honestly, absolutely excited about this one. Because I think if I can make this, I can show up with like my ma and stuff, because this is only for like the OGs in the kitchen. Meringue's not a...
No, not for sissies. And talk about our ma. We always talk about our ma together. My ma, Rosalind Barnard. You come... More.
Whoa.
Hit the ground. More.
You don't play around when it comes to whisking, eh?
Put it in, darling. Put it
deeper in. Get the whisk on.
That's it.
Don't hold back.
Don't hold back.
I got you.
I'm ready for you. I'm ready. There we go. It could be a little bit stiffer. More
I'll work on this, Jen.
Yeah, that's fine.
Sorry, I'll work on
Okay, then just stick it. In you go. And then we just fold it through lightly. And then we just... Basically, these are beautifully buttered, but I have made some up front, as one does, because I know...
Is this it? Is that what we're done?
That's it, darling. It's bliss.
Okay.
It's bliss. And then just very gently, because you don't want to break your egg white up too much. Just, can you see that? It's just too beautiful for words. Absolutely. And then a little bit more.
It seems like it's, I don't know what the word is, like aerated.
It's aerated,
fluffy,
exactly.
It's light.
Exactly. Now, this is ideal for me. This is a little bit too full because it needs space to
rise.
To rise, yeah. So this makes the ideal Father's Day dessert. Now, follow Mama.
And that literally, I'm coming your way, but that literally took like 5 minutes.
5 minutes, absolutely.
I see you've already done the thing. You've been early to the kitchen preparing something delicious, it seems.
Darling.
So this is hopefully going to be the end result when I attempt this later
Listen,
on.
darling, you will definitely end up with that beautiful result. Now, grab the spoon. Mama's going to give you some bliss.
Thank you, Mama.
Over the top, and I'm going to give you some berries, because you know berries are good for you, right?
Yes, please.
They're very
lots of good vitamins, lots of vitamin C. This is like the winter.
Yes, this is lovely little super berry. Zhup, my hands, as you know, are beautifully, they stay clean.
Always. So how do I eat this?
Darling, it's with your mouth. I mean, you breathe the air when you wake up and all of that stuff I've been watching.
It's Monday. I was just starting off life again. I don't know what's going on. Let me tuck into this. Everybody told me when I started TV, they were like, tip number 1 is this, tip number 2, tip number 3 was always have a TV bite. I never listened. Let me taste
Open wide. Is it good?
What did you put on top?
Clover bliss.
What? That is delicious. Jenny, it tastes like an airy cake. It's got a sweetness to it. The berries are just absolutely insane. Mzansi, this is perfection. This is exactly what you want for your Father's Day treat. Of course, if you've just tuned in, if you want to find out what this recipe is all about, then you can head over to expressoshow.com. The easy steps are all there for you. And if you missed every single thing, shame on you. But Jenny and I got you covered. Don't worry. Here's a recipe recap. Check it out.
Made with love by Clover. Only you can make my day.
With the creamy decadence of double cream bliss from Clover, yogurt has never been so irresistible.
Made with love by Clover.
Nourish your skin with Ingram's Tissue Oil Enriched Body Care range for 48-hour rich moisture. Ingram's, your skin, your brave.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. This is your Feel Good Breakfast Show, Expresso on S3, and we are back to chat about our medical topic for today as we've been unpacking albinism with Dr. Sia Maksale, who have been educating us about the condition. Now, we now head on over to our second half of the discussion, talking about the impact on the family, as this is a day that's observed annually on the 13th of June by the United Nations. So I'm loving what I'm learning so far, and yeah, let's get back into it.
Yeah, I think you've spoken about the extreme side of the discrimination within communities that's very prevalent within South Africa and Africa. But it's a very real transition that a family is going to have to go through, and we don't want to kind of fuel that fire in any way, but there's going to be a psychosocial impact on the family. So maybe we should start with that. What do you perceive that impact to be on a family?
Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, the discrimination and stigma regarding people with albinism is very widespread and horrible in South Africa. So imagine from being bullied at school to growing up. So usually people with albinism tend to isolate and develop depression, anxiety. So there are support systems in this country. We have the Albinism Society of South Africa. Parents can get counseling. Regular doctor visit can help with the support also.
So it's also looking after your mental health from that perspective. So when a new mom gives birth and she finds out that her baby's got albinism, what kind of advice can we give moms like that to get the right support to, you know, see that this is her child?
Okay, so I think the most important one is to educate and raise awareness. Because of lots of the myths and misconceptions, they need to know that this is not a punishment from God, that the child will be growing healthy, normal lifespan. It's like having a condition that just gives you pale skin, which is true. So I think with the support from the medical side, regular doctor visits, just to make sure they're getting the appropriate care, it will help the family a lot.
When we talk about the appropriate care, I think every new parent wants to ensure that they're doing the utmost for their child. What are the things that we need to look at? You mentioned eyesight, obviously being a major factor because of the lack of melanin. How do we, are there tests that need to be done at a regular basis? How do we scale that? Can you even know what is, you know, the degree of how eyesight's going to be affected?
Yeah. So, as we're talking in the break, people with albinism are at very high risk of developing skin cancer. So if you have any skin lesion, skin tag, you need to see your doctor. That's why they say regular doctor visits are very important, especially in this country where people have poor access to resources. So it's very important to educate, sunscreen, sunglasses, protective clothing from sun, long sleeves. So all these things are very important.
Really protect the skin. I have to say, I've been loving seeing how fashion stores and even magazine spreads have embraced their uniqueness, which for me is so beautiful. And I wanted to know from you, Doctor, do you have any final words that you would love to just leave our viewers with as we wrap up World Albinism Day that obviously took place yesterday?
I would like the viewers to educate themselves on this condition. The myths in this country is crazy, the things I was reading. So we need to support this society, we need to educate ourselves. Yeah, and hopefully we're going to get over it.
Well, thank you for spreading that message in the way that you do. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for, I think, also being the kind of voice that you are within social media, because you are in yourself helping a lot of people understand things a lot more. You're breaking down a lot of those stigmas, and you're so relatable. It's so nice to be able to just
thank you.
sit and chat. It makes a big difference for us, especially when we're broaching subjects like this that should really no longer be taboo, and it's ridiculous that we still have the stigma attached, but it does really hit a serious level in South Africa, so we know that we need to change that perception, and this is probably a great way to start. So hopefully you've taken something on board this morning, Doc. Thank you so much. You've been great.
Thank you for having me.
And let's uplift a little bit this morning here with the EKC worship team. Now, of course, in February this year, EKC Worship, they released the track You Will Live. This heartfelt song was written to a dear friend who lost his battle to COVID-19. And this track does declare that we will live and not die with Christ. And we must resist the spirit of fear, resist the spirit of death by standing on God's word and stand in the power of resurrection. Please, ladies and gents, into your homes. Welcome back EKC Worship with You Will Live.
Proverbs 18:21 declares so beautifully that death and life lies in the power of your tongue. I therefore urge you now, open up your mouth and start speaking life, South Africa. The voice of rejoicing and salvation is in the house house of the righteous. Give thanks to the Lord, for he is good. His mercy endureth forever. You will live, you will live in Jesus' name. By his blood, you will live in Jesus' name. You will live, you will live in Jesus' name. By his blood, you will live in Jesus' name. By his blood, you will live in Jesus' name.
I believe in my heart that that's a prophetic declaration right there. You are to open up your mouth right now and speak life.
The voice of rejoicing and salvation is in the house of the righteous. We give thanks to the Lord. For he is good. For he is good. His mercy endureth. His mercy endureth forever. You will live. Yes, you will. Yes, you will. You will live in Jesus' name. By his blood. You will live in Jesus' name. You will live, yeah. You will live. Yes, you will. Yes, you will. You will live in Jesus' name. By his blood, yeah. You will live in Jesus' name. By God's blood, yes. You will live in Jesus' name. You are healed, yeah. Yes, you are healed. In Jesus' name. In Jesus' name. By his blood, yes. You are healed in Jesus' name. You are healed. You are healed. Yes, you are healed. In Jesus' name. In Jesus' name. By his blood, yes. You are healed in Jesus' name. By his blood, you are healed in Jesus' name.
We are living in times that you have to understand that you can change your situation by opening up your mouth. Right there where you are, speak life, South Africa. Hey, so I will declare that you will live. I will declare that you are free. We say, I will declare that you will live. That you will no matter the circumstance, I will declare that you are free. Say, I will declare that you will live. That you will live. I will declare that you are free. That you can breathe. Say, this is the day. That you will live. That you we declare it right now. This is that day. That you are healed. That you are healed. This is that day. This is that situation's turn around right now. That you will live. That you come back to life right now. Yeah. That you are healed. That you are healed. You have no more witchcraft for God. You just gotta open up your mouth and say, oh, use your heart. We thank you for Come on, right there where you are. Receive this prophetic word. I'm speaking over to you. You will live. You will live. You will live in Jesus' name. By his blood, you will live.
Jesus' name. By his blood, you will live in Jesus' name.
Glory! Care is bringing passion to everything you do.
Proving good taste and good values go hand in hand.
Care is what goes into every single cup of Nespresso.
Made with care. Hecho con cuidado.
Nespresso. What else?
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Ooh, if you were in for this backtrack that we were listening to right now on that performance that's coming up later, oh, it's going to get you in the feels. EKG are doing something incredible.
They are, and of course, it's great to have them here for Gospel Monday. But it is now that time of the morning, 3 minutes past 8, for us to get one final look at the morning headlines. Here's Jamie.
Thank you, Zoe and Raul. Time to have a final look at those news headlines. We'll start with your national news. President Cyril Ramaphosa says Aspen Pharmaceuticals in Gqeberha, Eastern Cape, has beefed up production capacity to start work on new batches of Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccines. This comes after the U.S. Drug Authority ruled that Johnson & Johnson batches were contaminated and not fit for human use because workers at the plant did not shower or change their clothing after first working with AstraZeneca ingredients and then with the Johnson & Johnson. Now, meanwhile, Acting Health Minister Mamaloka Kubai-Ngabene has said some 300,000 Johnson & Johnson doses will be safe to use and shipped to South Africa. President Cyril Ramaphosa says he's pleased with the commitments made at the G7 summit around COVID-19 vaccines and global economic recovery. Speaking from Cornwall in the UK, he said the G7 leaders have pledged more vaccine support as well as boosting manufacturing capacity in the less developed world. Ramaphosa says the global south needs manufacturing capabilities since it doesn't want to depend on donations. The most advanced countries committed to share 1 billion doses of vaccines through COVAX. Ramaphosa also met with US President Joe Biden and UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson. Moving to news further abroad, Ghana's President Nana Akufo-Addo yesterday planted a tree in the capital, Accra, as part of a plan to put 5 million trees in the ground across the country in a single day. Now, the Green Ghana project is supposed to become an annual event and aims to reverse the process of deforestation. Everyone from school children to judges in the country's 16 regions have been taking part. Now, the focus has been on people planting trees where they can maintain them, like their homes or at school, college and church compounds. Rival politicians in Israel yesterday formed a new government to remove Benjamin Netanyahu, the country's longest-serving leader, from power. After 4 parliamentary elections in 2 years, opposition leader Yair Lapid, a former TV news anchor, put together a coalition with Naftali Bennett, a former settler leader and hard-right religious nationalist. Now, the Knesset voted 60-59 to approve the new coalition government, ending Netanyahu's 12-year rule as prime minister. Currently on trial for corruption, Netanyahu was Israel's most right-wing prime minister to date and the first Israel-born politician to become leader. And now with our final story, some very inspiring news from one of our neighbors. Zimbabwean stone sculptor David Ngwerume's expressive artworks has captured the world's attention. Since the beginning of 2021, this qualified lawyer has spent considerable time carving pandemic prevention messages in stone. Ngwerume has gained the spotlight in the international media, and his unique approach to art has already brought him acclaim across the globe due to its exceptional way of reflecting the current dynamics facing the world. He was recently commissioned by the Africa Union, AU, to make a piece that will be on display at the AU headquarters in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. The sculpture showcases a woman seated on a chair receiving a COVID-19 jab from a dismembered pair of hands. Dubbed the Jab of Faith, Ngwerume said the piece, and I quote, depicts the times we are in where the world is moving toward vaccination of all citizens as a preventative measure against the spread of the coronavirus. Now, the sculptor said art is a reflection of perception and can convey feelings and moods in a way that words alone cannot accomplish. David Ngwerume is undoubtedly one of Zimbabwe's most prolific expressionists, and we are certainly so proud of him. Well, that is where I wrap your news headlines. Here is G with one last look at those sports.
Thanks so much, Jamie. Let's start with cricket. South Africa have beaten the West Indies by an innings and 63 runs to take the first test. That was on the third day at the Darren Sammy Cricket Stadium in St. Lucia. Fast bowler Kagiso Rabada completing a 5-wicket haul for the 10th time in his test cricketing career, and wicketkeeper batsman Quinton de Kock hitting an unbeaten 141 to help guide the Proteas to that win. The second test between South Africa and the West Indies will start on Friday. Then the Bulls, they have done it. They're through to the final. They finished at the top of the Pro 14 Rainbow Cup South African standings to book their place in the North versus South final in Italy this coming weekend. Men from Pretoria showed a lot of heart and balance in that team, beating the Sharks 34-22 in the final match at Kings Park on Saturday. The Bulls will face Benetton in Treviso in the Rainbow Cup final on Saturday. That one kicks off at 6:30 p.m. Then in the Women's Premier Division this weekend, it continued with victories for Western Province, still unbeaten, EP Queens and Boland Dames in round 6 of the competition on Saturday. So Western Province remain undoubtedly the title favourites after recording their 6th successive win, outplaying the Blue Bulls women 38-5 down in Cape Town. The Border Ladies, they suffered back-to-back losses after being stunned by the EP Queens 12-8 in their Eastern Cape derby, and then the Boland Dames claimed their 2nd consecutive win after seeing off the Sharks 11-5 in Durban. Then on to the international stage for tennis. World number 1 Novak Djokovic has done it. He's won his 19th Grand Slam title after fighting back to beat Greece's Stefanos Tsitsipas in the Roland Garros final yesterday. So the world seed beat the world number 5, world top seed rather, beat the world number 5 6-7. 2-6, 6-3, 6-2, 6-4 to clinch the title. In the women's singles draw, the unseeded Czech Barbara Krejcikova, she clinched her first ever Grand Slam win after beating Russia's Anastasia Pavlyuchenkova 6-1, 2-6, 6-4 on Saturday, and then went on to claim the doubles title as well. So she got the double, but a brilliant weekend for tennis. Then on to football. Euro 2020 finally kicked off this weekend with some pretty big wins for Italy, Belgium, England, and the Netherlands in the opening round of new European competitions. On Friday, Italy put down a marker, thrashing Turkey 3-0 in the opener in Rome. Then on Saturday, Finland edged out Denmark 1-0 in a match that was definitely overshadowed by the collapse of midfielder Christian Eriksen, but he is said to be in a stable condition as we speak. In other results, England overcame Croatia thanks to the lone goal by Raheem Sterling at Wembley Stadium. Belgium recorded an impressive 3-0 win over Russia, and the Netherlands worked hard to beat the Ukraine 3-2 in Amsterdam. That was in the late run last night. Well, that's a wrap of your sport for this Monday morning. Let's get one last look at the skies above your neck of the woods.
Thank you, Graham, and a big thank you to all of you for sharing your sunrise views with us. It really is wonderful to see how you start your day. Let's quickly recap. One of our regulars, Alan Rudnicki, shared this icy and fresh morning and a picture from Sutherland showing the ice formed on the back of his vehicle. Thank you for that, Alan. Winter is definitely settling in. Another regular from Belito, Andrew Harris, shared this stunning view as the sky transitions from orange to golden hues to blues scattered dotted with clouds. Then at 7 o'clock, we shared this beautiful image filled with hues of reds, orange, and pink. This was shared by Gary Asnerick from Cape Town. And last but not least, we have a special shout out to one of our viewers, Marcel Myrick, who is all the way in New York City. Now, we love hearing from all of our viewers based locally and internationally. And if you would like to be featured on our weather segments, it is really simple. Just head on over to the Expresso Facebook page to share your photo and location with us, and we could be sharing your pictures on your Feel Good Breakfast show. And while we enjoy seeing the various parts of South Africa, we also love and explore and learn about different cultures and countries internationally. So this morning, if we have any viewers tuned in from Antananarivo, the capital and largest city of Madagascar, this one is for you. The city sits at 1,280 meters above sea level in the center of the island, the highest national capital by elevation among the island countries. Some of the city's sights to enjoy include palaces, museums, and streets lined with faded colonial architecture to explore, bustling markets and boutiques to pursue. Now, today, the city can expect mostly cloudy conditions with a brief morning shower or two, reaching a mild maximum of 20 degrees Celsius. And for some world news, world leaders meeting in Cornwall in the UK during the past few days have adopted strict measures on coal-fired power stations as part of the battle against the climate change. The G7 group promised to move away from coal plants unless they have technology to capture carbon emissions. This after 94-year-old environmentalist Sir David Attenborough addressed the world's leading democracies and warned that humans could be, and I quote, on the verge of destabilizing the entire planet. He said G7 leaders face the most important decisions in human history, and coal is the world's dirtiest major fuel, and ending its use is seen as a major step by environmentalists, but they also want to guarantee from wealthy countries on previous promises to help poorer nations cope with climate change. G7 countries account for 20% of carbon emissions. Climate change has been one of the key themes at the three-day summit in Caribous Bay in Cornwall. Let's quickly look at your temperatures for one last time here in South Africa for today. If you're in Polokwane, expect a low of 6, a high of 24. Mbombela 11 with a high of 30. Pretoria 8, 23. Johannesburg 7 reaching a high of 20. Sunny in Mahikeng 5, 24. Klerksdorp 4 with a high of 23. If you're in Kimberley today, a low of 4 and a high of 24 can be expected. Bloemfontein reaching a cool 1 with a high of 23. Partly cloudy conditions in Richards Bay, 15 with a high of 26. Pietermaritzburg 9 reaching a high of 26. It's sunny in Durban, 16, 23. Mthatha 7 with a high of 22. In East London, 12 is your low, 21 your high. Cradock expect a low of 6 with a high of 25 for today. Partly cloudy conditions in Gqeberha with a high of 20. George 11 reaching a high of 18. If you're in the mother city today, Cape Town's experiencing a low of 10 with a high of 19. Worcester 8, 21. Sutherland 7 with a high of 17. And partly cloudy conditions can be expected in Uppington with a low of 13 and a high of 27 degrees Celsius. And that's where I leave your weather on your Feel Good Breakfast show.
Thank you very much, Zoe Brown. Now, no matter what it's looking like in your part of the country with all those temperatures starting to sort of chill up a little bit, hopefully you make it a feel-good time. And speaking of feel-good, Dad's Day is coming.
Yes, Father's Day is happening this Sunday, so obviously just in memory of this amazing day happening, we wanted to find out by you what impact, what positive impact has the father figure in your life had on you, and it's so interesting to hear what some of you had to say.
Some really beautiful messages. We got one here from Anern Nonjabulon Daput, saying hashtag Expresso show. My father has been like a friend, mum and a dad at the same time. He inspires me every time, being strong and independent. I've learned that from me, some become amazed that I'm a girl, but I have this strong bond with my dad than my mom.
Aw,
I love
sweet.
that, hey?
And then we have Colleen Kinshela saying, my dad was only active in my life when I turned 11 years old, but my mom's brother, my godfather, that man deserves a medal. He raised me as his own daughter. I never knew that he was my mom's brother until my biological father came. And still, I took my godfather as my own dad. He was there since I was born, always made time for me, took us to ride our bikes, and played with us like any father should. Sadly, I lost my dad last year due to COVID, and I will always love that man because he treated me as his own. I miss you, Daddy. So for a lot of people, this is going to be a sad time where they reflect about their father life. But let us know on our social media, Expresso Morning Show S3.
Yeah, and so sorry about your loss, Colleen, but such beautiful memories you've been able to build and such incredible experiences that you have had as well. Please, we want to hear all those stories. Use that hashtag, Expresso Show.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for keeping it locked as we delve into the final hour of the show. And this is going to be a really interesting one for me from a number of angles because I am a father, but I also never knew my father. So this poses so many questions. We're no longer in an age where parenthood focuses mainly on motherhood, thankfully, and we are seeing that fathers do want to be more present in their children's lives. Come on. Yeah. Research has also shown that through active fathers have an overall positive impact on their children's lives. So gone is the acceptance that of the deadbeat dad.
Deadbeat dads are gone. There's no such thing anymore, man. So ahead of Youth Day and Father's Day this week, today we're asking the question, did your father play a role, or an important role in your upbringing, right? So we've got our resident clinical psychologist, Asha Dulab, in the studio this morning, and she's going to be joined alongside the founder of the Son of a Son podcast. His name is Kabo Legora, and he's on video call this morning to join us in this conversation. We're going to be discussing it all and taking some questions on our social media apps as well. So come weigh in on this conversation as we talk about the modern day dad.
The modern day dad. I love that. So, Kabo, thank you so much for joining us as well. Asha, I'm going to start with you. Maybe a good jumping off point would be the difference between having a present father and having an absentee father. How does this kind of exhibit? I know it's complex, but if you could simplify it, how do these two kind of situations play out?
I think that it's such a very relevant question. So an absent father, I mean, you can have a present father, but he can be absent. So I think we're looking at the concept of an active father. An engaged father, someone that is accessible, and also someone that's responsible, that's there to be able to connect with the child from the space of the mind and the heart, connecting emotionally, being there. And obviously a child that has that in place flourishes on all aspects of life. They feel more balanced, they feel more safe psychologically, emotionally, a sense of belonging. They feel seen and heard, and that's very important for children.
I love that description of it. Now, before we actually get in on a conversation and weigh in on what Kabo has to say, I just wanted to find out from you first, would you then say that there's a potential effect on the kid that does not have a father figure in their life? Are they not able to reach full potential special? Can they not flourish because of that
Single
absence?
moms rock, man.
Yeah, I think that it's natural for us as human beings to flourish, right? So it's just that, you know, children sometimes can build up such great resilience in those circumstances. So it's really about what is the story that is being told in the context of the home, the ambience, the atmosphere, because like Graham said, single moms rock. And it's really about how is the child being raised? Is the parent able to look at themselves and address what, you know, their own stuff? Because when we have a child and raising a child, we parent ourselves, we reparent ourselves and represent ourselves to our children. So it becomes a dual learning process, both for the parent and the child. And it's about asking, how do you want your child to view you one day? Obviously, to be the very best version of yourself, so your child can be also.
Luckily, I'm still at that phase where my child reckons I'm a rock star. I'm an absolute rock star, and hopefully that'll last. Khabo, I'm going to bring you involved in the conversation right now, and thanking you once again for the work that you do through your podcast, which sounds absolutely amazing. Obviously, there has always traditionally been a very strong, when it comes to matters of the child, there has been a really strong focus on motherhood. Are you finding now that there are more resources for the father, and that more fathers are embracing these and becoming more connected?
Look, yeah, thanks for having me, guys. To be honest, in my own case, is that when I was said to be a dad, I couldn't find enough material or resources locally in South Africa that was made for fathers. There's a lot of stuff internationally, podcasts or YouTube channels and stuff like that, but I think that it's worth having locally produced content that you can relate to in your own context.
For sure.
But at the moment, there is a bit of a rise in content for fathers, for parenting. But I think this is why I created my podcast, because I was like, this is needed, and I could probably lean on a lot more men around me for their own wisdom. So that's what helped me the most.
And I think it's such an important topic that you have brought about, Khabo, and we are going to dive deeper into it. We've got you on the line for the next two segments, because I want to know so much more about why has this been missing for so long, and why has it taken so long to get this narrative? So
yeah, man, work, lady, children.
Yeah, so Khabo, I'm so glad that you're going to be staying on the line with us. We've got Ash here as well, so we've got all the experts we need to delve into this conversation. So you guys at home, make sure you come through on the social media channels as well. Ask us some questions. We've got two specialists on the line for you, and you do not want to miss out the next two segments. So we'll see you soon, and stay with us, and we'll stick around.
Thank you, gentlemen. And speaking of dads, my dad, he really means the world to me. He is my rock and solid, and he's the person I call when I need advice. And what was quite sweet during lockdown, he was the one to really check in on me every single day. He is one of the hardest working people that I know, and he deserves to feel special every single day of the year, but especially on Dad's Day. So that is why I have fashion and beauty editor Knox Mafu in studio to help me choose the perfect gift for my dad, because he's easy to buy for, but also quite difficult to buy for.
Okay, cool. I get that.
Yes.
Like, you can choose something, but you don't want to get it wrong.
True.
Absolutely.
True.
So I think Woolies has made it so easy that we can kind of like think about our dads in two different categories. You can have your classic dad, which I think something more closer to you would make more sense.
PJs.
So sleepwear is actually such a great element to add. I think you can't get it wrong. And Woolies has an amazing set. I mean, the best dad ever. If he needs to know he's the best dad, now's the time. But what I love is that they're made out of 80% cotton. They're really great and cozy, but also lightweight, because you actually do get a bit warm when you're around the house.
Yes, but also like men in general are a lot hotter. So I can imagine the thinner the PJs, the better.
Exactly, the more comfort. And then you can pair those with some really comfy slippers. But what I love about this is that they actually have extra padding inside, so to allow for a better, comfort. And your dad, as they get older, we need to make sure support is important. So that is an option that we can get for him.
Okay.
But if you want to go, so your classic dad, and then we can have more of a funky, like off-the-wall kind of dad. Okay. And so I think these are the cutest socks ever, made with 100% cotton. Again, we know that Woolies always focus on BSI and also working on, making sure that the cotton is for good
That is for the young dad.
Young dad.
That is for the young dad.
This is for
my dad will laugh at me if I have to bring that home to him.
But these boxes are also great. They're also a lot of bit of fun. These have got like burgers on them. But what
what I love also, really made with great materials, fun and, you know, funky, but also extremely functional so that you can use it with ease. So really, any one of these, and a deal is that if you buy 3 socks, you can pay for 2.
Oh, well, there we go. Knox, it's always so great to have you here. You're not going to go anywhere because we've got more Dad's Day specials to talk about. I think if I had to choose anything here, my dad's more of a classic dad.
There we go.
Some nice thin PJs because he lives in Durban. It gets quite hot there.
Yes.
They don't really feel the cold like we do in the Western Cape. But I know there are some great combos available. So let me know what the perfect combo is that you prefer, and you can head on over to the Expresso social media pages and vote for your favorite Dad's Day gift by commenting on the poll post that we have. I think this is good. Yeah, it's like this.
I'm really okay at dadding. I'm strong, confident, and my dad jokes are rad jokes. They're not dad jokes to me, they're just jokes.
Nourish your skin with Ingrams for Men, enriched with triple glycerine. For 48-hour moisture and no stickiness. Ingrams, your skin, your brave.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Yeah, welcome back, you beautiful souls. We're still locked in live right here and opening up with S3 on the Expresso show. And of course, ahead of Youth Day and Father's Day this week, we are asking the question, did your father play an important role in your upbringing? Well, we are back, of course, this is round 2 of the ever-important conversation, and we're chatting with our clinical psychologist, Asha Dulab, in the studio, and of course, joining us via conference, via the digital world, the Son of a Son podcast founder, Cabo Legoda, on video call to unpack this incredible topic. And of course, weigh in on your conversations and questions coming through on Facebook and our social media channels too. Yeah.
Really interesting. I don't know if you heard my intro, but I never had the opportunity of meeting my father older than kind of 3 years old. So that's been the one side of this. But I'm also a dad, a very proud dad to 2 kids. So I'm constantly learning on the job every single day. But this is the South African narrative. And Chaba, I'm going to put that to you. There's been this a long time perception that father absenteeism is more rife when the father is no longer in relationship with the mother. Do you think this still holds true today? Is this the South African narrative, man?
Yeah, you know what, bro? Sadly, it's true. But you know that phrase of like out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah.
That's what plays into this, is because I think that you're not able to visibly place where your responsibility is, right? So your child isn't there. But I think it's also worth mentioning that absenteeism isn't just physical. And I think Asha also mentioned this earlier, is that it's also an emotional thing, is that I can be physically present, but emotionally like detached. So you don't have my attention, but you have my presence. So I think either one is not healthy, but to be honest, to answer your question, it is still rife in that manner.
Buddy, I'm going to ask this, sorry to interject there, because we were just talking about this off air now. I can't imagine anything worse in my life than not being able to see my child every day and be connected to it. What is driving this? What is it? Are we carrying the sins of our own fathers across? Why do you think this cycle keeps repeating itself?
Look, to be honest, this parenting is scary. Listen, I'll be very honest, right? It's a very scary thing, and so if you aren't, it's very different for mothers because they have to nurture that child the minute the child is here. But for the fathers, it's how do I say it? In layman's, it's whack that the father has the choice that I'm going to step away from this, right? The mother, on the other hand, it's a different thing altogether. So, look, it's a mix of fear, it's a mix of like scars, it's a mix of a lot of things. But I think to the crux of it is just a lot of fear. I'll be very honest.
It's like that, heal the boy and the man will appear eventually. Asha, you look like you have something to say there. I don't want to interrupt because I can feel there's a point
so
to be
much
made.
I want to say.
Let it out.
I think that, you know what, to add to that, it's also about the trauma that one experiences growing up in, where there's conflict between a mom and a dad. There's trauma there. There's an experience of neglect or abandonment or rejection, and that trauma plays out in the whole home environment. So it's quite sad that when mom and dad's not together, it plays out in that traumatic narrative.
Yeah.
And again, you know, you mentioned fear, and I think I thought about this. If we could have children that don't have an experience of fear, shame, or guilt, what will families look like? But then again, we're sitting with parents that are with shame, fear, and guilt.
Hey man, nothing wrong with a little family baggage. I'm carrying those suitcases around with me wherever I go, and I'm going to hand them over to my child, and you can enjoy them as well. Kgobo, I'm going to ask you, because you've become this resource to other dads out there, how do you suggest fathers still actively involve themselves in the upbringing of their children, especially if they're not the primary caregiver or not in a relationship with the mother? Because that's where I think it becomes really sticky.
Yeah, it's a tough question. It's a tough question, but to be honest, I think you know this as a dad, is that you have to carve out the time. Right, you have to. It's worth it. You'll make the time for it, and I think that it's worth mentioning that avail yourself, be intentional, and be consistent. Kids are creatures of habit, right? And if you miss that one soccer game that you said you were going to be at, it kind of like it stays in their memory. So I think, like, you know, sacrifice your time, be consistent. And just keep showing up, because I think in as much as you might not be in the relationship with the mother would still appreciate you playing your role in that child's life.
Yeah. I think especially in a day like the one we live in, where time is such a valuable commodity as well, giving that time and not just being there but being present, I think is so important, Asha.
Well, it's good for you as well,
Yeah, Christian, well, I guess we got another segment for this, because I'm like just bubbling with questions, and I'm just like, there's not enough time.
I'm doing a lot of processing here. I'm thinking about a lot of things, which is ideally what we want to be doing right now. We are talking about modern fatherhood and the idea that men can embrace their role, whether you're in relationship, whether you're out of it, whether you are the primary caregiver. You can be as actively involved in your child's upbringing. You should be as actively involved as the mother. We're going to continue this discussion with one more segment in a moment.
Oh, it's all about the fathers, isn't it? We love that. Not sure what to do, though, for your father when it comes to brunch this coming weekend? Well, listen, we've got you covered with Woolies Eat In Saturday Brunch. You save 20% on each item that you need to pull your ultimate brunch together. Every item you're going to need, you're going to be saving money on. And Clem is here, and this is his creation, the croissant French toast. And you can imagine I have spent a fortnight practicing how to say croissant. Croissant.
So maybe for this segment you have to call me Clément.
Clément with the croissant. In English, South African.
So that, Clement.
Croissant.
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 Not, yeah, just croissant. That's the only other way. Okay, cool. Not funny. Not croissant.
Okay.
No.
Okay, cool. But this is. I mean, all dads are going to love this one.
Yes, and it's so easy. Dad should actually be in the kitchen on Saturday with everyone else just making it. You know, memories are built in the kitchen. Is that spicy? I don't think so. I don't think so.
So basically, Dad must earn his brunch.
Right.
No, man. I think we should only be making this for our dads.
I said it.
Not getting them to work for it.
In the kitchen, where the memories are made. Just get in there. Okay, so here's the thing. The deal's
I'm not your dad.
The deal's only available on Saturday. You get the all butter croissants, the grated cheese, and it's grated for you because it's the weekend and it's Father's Day.
Nobody
no one
wants
knows
to be
grating.
sitting there with a grater.
Get the beautiful bacon, the streaky bacon, wood smoked, and then the free-range eggs. That's the deal, and it's only
So
available.
you get 20% off on each one of these items. This is fantastic. They really have made it easy for you to get that brunch going. So let's go.
I'm gonna need your help. Can you halve these for me?
Okay, sure, yeah.
As you would normally slice them, you can actually separate them for me already.
Okay, cool.
I'm gonna make the Royale, which sounds fancy, but it's just the custard that we use to make the French, the actual dipping part for our French toast.
Okay, it's called the Royale.
A Royale.
Oh, okay.
So eggs go in, always free range, and you're doing. For a second there, I was like, "What's happening?" And you're doing it right.
Yeah, I mean, you know me.
You are just amazing.
You only have to teach me once. I mean, come on. I've done this a few times.
Tell me about the ideal breakfast, the weekend breakfast for you.
This is it.
Yeah?
No, I actually. This is ideal, absolutely ideal. But typically for me, I'll have like a bruschetta, a breakfast bruschetta. I love that. I love a bruschetta. There's a spot in Sea Point that I usually go to, and it cures everything. If you woke up with a headache on a Saturday because maybe you went out the night before, it's perfect. It's the right amount of fatty and meaty.
Right. So again, this can be for you because this will do that same thing for removing that headache. Don't forget, get the cheese, get the bacon, get the eggs, get the croissants, and that's your 20% saving.
So basically,
only
that's
on Saturday.
Which is perfect timing.
So you can go to Woolies in Sea Point. Yeah. I'm going to see you there in St. John's. What's up? That team at that Woolworths, they're amazing.
Fantastic
I will get you there at 10 o'clock.
I mean, I won't be up at that time, but I'll be there at like 12.
Wow. Wow.
Okay, cool. Let's go. So what do you want me to do with the Avo?
Okay, so that's not part of the deal, but I thought, listen, you've saved already.
Yeah.
Get an Avo. Let's make it nice and creamy. You're going to do that for me? That's perfect.
And the Avos there at Woolies are always ready in season, it seems, always throughout the year there at Woolies. You can get them, whether it's the Haas, whatever the other Avos are called, you can get them all there.
And we don't promote the squishing of the Avos. Okay? We don't do that. We kind of frown upon those that do.
Yeah, don't frown now.
Don't frown now.
You want to make Dad's brunch with a smile and not a frown, please.
There we go. Okay, Tubbsy, you're doing the good things. It's looking good. It's looking interesting. Okay? But I've got an example for you for what I need from that Avo that you're busy making. Can you take a look over here?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Okay, cool.
Chef, you've got 1 minute.
Okay, cool.
So I've got some oil in the pan, a little bit of butter. And then the oil's just to help the butter not burn. And the butter obviously gives us that nice flavor. I like this recipe because if you've got leftover... Croissants tend to go dry after like day 2 or 3.
Yes, and nobody wants a dry croissant.
That's what you want. So if you've got some croissants that have seen better days, this is the recipe because it just sucks up all that moisture so much better. Make sure you got a nice swirl going on there.
This is difficult, eh? This Avo stuff is not
No, Tabji, I've got faith in you. I've got faith in you.
It's not easy.
I've got faith in you.
Like, why must it be so difficult? You might have to, if you really are like me, practice ahead of Saturday.
Yes.
It's just for a practice run.
Look, if it goes wrong, we'll just make guacamole.
Yeah, okay, listen, it's coming. It's just taking long.
Okay, so what we want to do now, we kind of want to form a crust on our croissants, but then we're going to start packing it into a dish, layer the bacon in, and we're going to bake it almost like a bake. Okay? How are you doing there?
Yeah, I've done a few for you here.
Okay, we're going to make some guacamole.
Many,
No.
Just this is
We
enough.
are going with what you have made for us.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, great.
So you can also switch this up, you know, if you want to do like a smoked chicken if you don't eat bacon.
You basically are just covering the croissant in egg. I mean, these are butter croissants.
Yes.
And you're covering them in egg. I mean, this is heaven.
It is.
You know what I mean?
It is. It's delicious.
Honestly.
So, okay, I'm going to still use these, but let's start packing them in. So let's talk about our streaky bacon. Super simple.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to just finish them in the oven. Because we're going to cook at a high temperature, 200
So
degrees.
it's all going to go at the same time?
It's all going to go at the same time. And pack everything in. It'll cook it. You'll get a beautiful crisp on your bacon.
Yeah.
200 degrees. Everything's going to be cooked and delicious.
Stuns.
That fat's going to render off the bacon into our croissants. It's going to be magical. How are you feeling?
You know what I like about this entire experience, this entire extravaganza, because that really is what it is it takes 15 to 20 minutes to make.
Yeah,
If you want
absolutely.
the recipe, we've made it even easier, as if this wasn't an easy tutorial on its own. You can go on our website, expressoshow.com, and we've got the ingredients, which you will get for 20% off on Saturday only, as well as how to bring them all together and bring this experience in a bowl to life.
Tubbsy, you are amazing in the kitchen. You like the
I'm moral
the spice.
support.
You're the spice.
I'm moral
I like
support.
It. So you just get your bacon in there.
Yeah.
Pop it in between. So it's the layers. Goes into the oven, 200 degrees, nice and hot. It's going to come out looking, smelling, tasting like $1,000,000. That goes on top of it. Extra chives go on top. We can even put the chives inside that mixture. Let that cook together.
Goes.
It's going to also go once it's stable.
It's a go. It's a go, go, go. Look at what it looks like when it's all done. I mean, honestly, if I was serving this to my dad, I would want us to share it. Like go 50-50. There's no ways I'm letting Dad have this by himself. Good things are better shared, and that's what you're going to want with this once you've done it for your dad. I mean, Clem, can I go in?
Please do.
Because I need to tell you how all of these ingredients have come
I've also
together.
got a big spoon for you, because I know you want to dish into a side plate.
Yes, you know me. Okay, cool. That's you telling me use the big spoon?
Yeah. While you're doing that, I'll finish off with the cheese before this goes into the oven.
Look at all of that goodness. The cheese, binding it all together. It looks and smells so, so good. All right, Clem.
Go for it.
The moment of truth is now. Are you ready? Oh, the cheese, man. It's the cheese for me. It's the cheese for me.
Yes.
Splendid.
It is. And the recipe's available on the website, on the Expresso website. It's that easy. Just do it. Get it done.
I'm making this in honor of my dad, because he's in Hammanskar. I'm going to make it and eat it on Saturday.
Do it.
You make it for your dad. Happy Father's Day.
Okay, dads, we can do this. You got to this point, so just continue. Keep on flying down the N1, past the M3. You've got this, Dad.
Becoming a parent fills you with delight, nerves, and questions. Now, an original South African app has the answers. Whether you're expecting your bundle of joy or raising a preschooler, the Purity Journey Journal app is a breeze to use. Sign up for free and choose from a host of features, including 24/7 medical assistance, expert tips, and milestone tracker. Sign up to the Purity Journey Journal app for whenever you need some guidance along your parenting journey.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Yes, you beautiful souls, we're still locked in. Of course, we're still here for the final edition of this beautiful conversation. It's ahead of Youth Day and the Father's Day week that we are about to enter into. And today we're asking that question, of course, did your father play an important role in your upbringing? And of course, our resident clinical psychologist, Asha Dulab, is in studio along with the Son of Sun podcast founder, Cabo Legora, on video to unpack this topic and weigh in on that important conversation and questions about the modern day father. And we haven't been unpacking the things, G.
I've been loving it. We've been talking off air as much. We should have had a podcast for this one, actually. I think we're going to stretch it out. Cabo, thanks for sticking around. But Asha, I'm going to put this to you because, to be completely honest, the great joys of my life have come from my children. Like, I can't, there is before and after. You just can't contextualize your life until you get that.
You make me smile when you say that, G, man.
I give you so much bad press with dirty nappies and waking up 5 times a night. I'm terrified that I'd scared you away from being a parent, man, because you'll be an amazing dad. You'll be able to give your child so much, but you'll also be able to draw so much from that. It's not just for the child that this father being present wins. The dad, what does the dad get out of being a better dad?
Oh, wow. Let's go back to that Ubuntu principle. I am because you are. Isn't that beautiful for vice versa,
completely.
The parent and the child? And it's an honor to be a dad. I mean, you grow and evolve as a human being when you are a parent, when you're laying the foundation for another human being, when you are seeing the very best version of yourself. It's like you have a child as a mirror to reflect back on you, to self-love yourself, to grow. It's just an enhancing, holistic experience of a journey of life.
It's like this continual check-in.
You get to watch cartoon movies every day.
You're kidding me. Come on, let me ask you while you're on the line, man. When it comes to talking about fathers just in general, I mean, you'd probably be able to conceptualize this really well for us, but what is that unique thing about the relationship between a kid and their father, man? What does that mean for you?
Look, I mean, for me, bro, I've got 4 kids, so it's like different for all of them.
4 full-time jobs.
Wait, but I might be a punching bag to one and something else to another. But you know what? Like, you know, we all know the stereotype about father role being about provision. I must just provide the bacon and put bread on the table and that's it. But there's so much more to that. I know that for my own kids and what we value as a family is that I'm there to provide security. I'm there to provide affirmation and identity to help them along the way. Not that my wife isn't doing the same, but we both have different voices in our kids' lives. I think that's the way I can sum it up because there's a lot that can be said about that.
Mm-hmm.
Is it tougher being a dad too? What are your kids? Are they all boys, all girls, a mix of both?
I've got 1 boy and 3 girls. There's twins in the mix as well.
Oh my word! So who's the tougher to bring up? The boy, the girl, or the mix?
The girls, you know, I think everyone has their own personality. So I think I'm learning. I can see a lot of myself in my son, but I'm learning how to be a guy for girls because, you know, there's just so much that I learn from them as well.
Yeah, man, and their healthy relationships for the rest of their life are all on your shoulders right now. I absolutely love that.
Asha, I mean, let's just talk about the importance of relationship. I mean, when it comes to any relationship, when it comes to your father, I mean, we're hearing it from Cabo as well, when he talks about that importance. But are there rules to this game? I mean, let's be honest, like, it doesn't seem like there's this one way in which you need to do things. What would be the best advice for someone that's trying to figure this out, that hasn't had a father figure? Is there a guide? Is there a website? You know, how does it work, you know?
Well, I think we are all trying to do something well that we know nothing about. We all are in the same game. We're all learning together. That's why there's enough books on all the bookshelves in all these bookstores, but we all are still in that journey of learning and discovering, and that's why these conversations is very important. It's really about, you know, taking perspective, and again, I will say, as a parent, look at yourself, because your child is modeling, imitating you. And remember that as a parent, you hold both the masculine and feminine archetypes within you. So a woman can do both a father and a mom's job, and vice versa.
And vice versa, yeah.
A dad can do the same. So remember that and nurture those qualities, and that you can only do once you look into yourself.
A nice reflection. When you're looking at your kid here, you're going to see yourself now and be like, whenever he's doing something wrong, that's on me.
That's classic Graham right there. No, but it's so weird that you say that, because when Jack was born, I was up until the millisecond that I got to meet him, I was terrified that my clone was going to appear and that he was doomed to repeat all of my mistakes. And then they arrive and you realize whether you're there or not, they're going to have their own life. And it's just what you can add to that, what layers you can build on that. So that being said, I'm gonna correct what I said earlier. It's not going to be a full suitcase of baggage that I'm going to hand over to my kids. Maybe just a little rucksack or like a hip bag, hopefully, of baggage. A little moon bag of baggage to pass on to your kids. Just having the conversation, I think, is the most important part of this. Dads, we know that it's tough out there. Khabo, thank you so much for being that voice in this current situation. It's so cool to be connecting with very conscious dads like you. Good luck with the twins and the rest of your beautiful family. So good to have you.
Guys. Hopefully I can have you guys as guests on the podcast.
Dude, as you can hear, we're already, man. There's so much more that needs to be said. Asha, thank you as always.
Pleasure.
Hey, this was a good, man. Absolutely beautiful chat. Dads, you rock as well.
Yeah.
Oh, well, listen, earlier I asked you to help me choose between a set of sleepwear and slippers versus some funky boxes and socks. And let's find out who, or in fact, which got the most votes for Dad's Day this Father's Day. And we're going to take a look at the board right now. As you can see behind me, there is Anisha says option 1, which is the PJs. Sandra says definitely 2, with my hubby working in steel-tip boots. Socks are a shortage, and his drivers, pardon the pun, his drawers rather. Candace says number 1. Let's take a look at the other ones coming through. Kele Bochile says sleepwear and slippers for my best dad ever. Barbara says sleepwear and slippers. Monique is also echoing that. Nasiba says socks and boxes. And Janine says sleepwear and that beautiful slippers. So there we go. It seems like the PJs, the sleepwear and slippers are the ones that took the cake today. And remember, rewards members, listen up, because you can get up to 25% off sleepwear if you shop between now and the 20th of June at Woolworths, which is available in store, online, or on the Woolies app.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back, everybody. This is your Feel Good Breakfast Show right here on S3. Final few minutes of the show, but really to bring the people of God to worship in spirit and truth. That is one of the objectives set out by EKC Worship. Now, one of the ways they achieve their objectives is by praising and worshiping, and that's exactly how we'll be closing the show this morning on your Feel Good Breakfast Show. Now, EKC Worship will be taken to the floor to perform the song God So Loved. This song won our Gospel Monday poll over the weekend. We can't thank you enough for voting. EKC, for one last time, take it away.
Good morning, Cape Town. Welcome to Reggae Monday. I think you're enjoying this. Come on, if you know the song, sing with me. God so loved the world that he gave his only son. Whosoever shall not perish, but have eternal life. God so loved the world that he gave his only Son, and whosoever may believe shall not perish, but have eternal life. Come on, clap your hands this morning. Come on. I wonder if you can join me with your power hand in the air. God so loved the world.
God so loved the world
That he gave his only Son.
that he gave his only Son.
Whosoever may believe.
Whosoever may believe
Shall not perish.
shall not perish, but have eternal life.
Can you sing it again? Sing. God so loved the world
that he gave his only Son,
that
whosoever may believe shall not perish, but have eternal life.
Come on, sing. 'Cause I believe his word, and I believe his promises. I believe eternal life is going life, eternal life. If you know it, sing. I believe his word. Say, I believe his promises. I believe eternal life is going life, eternal life. Yeah, I believe in his promises. I believe in his word. I believe in destiny. I believe in eternal life. I believe he will come again. I believe we will reign with him. Say, I believe, I believe, I believe. I believe, I believe, I believe. We say,
I believe his word.
I believe his promises.
I believe his promises.
I believe eternal.
I believe eternal life is going life, eternal life.
God so loved the world. Say,
God so loved the world
he gave his only Son.
that he gave his only Son.
Whosoever may believe
Whosoever may believe
shall not perish.
shall not perish, but have eternal life.
One more time, say, God so loved the world
God so loved the world
that he gave his only Son.
that he gave his only Son.
Whosoever may believe
Whosoever may believe
shall not perish.
shall not perish, but have eternal life. Shall not perish, but have eternal life.
One more time, say,
Shall not perish, but have eternal life.
make some noise, yeah. Tell it in the house. Somebody make some.
Reggae
Wow, wow.
Jazz,
The tone for this, everything.
reggae.
The islands, come on, man. Yeah.
Gospel.
We're taking the Lord to the island.
Take a bow, you beautiful human beings. Thank you so
There
much.
we
That was
go.
superb.
What a show, what a show. Can you believe it? Still happy birthday to Carl Wasty. He's not with us here, but we are thinking about
Carly
you.
Pants,
This
man.
entire show is dedicated just for you.
Do you think he's sleeping?
No,
No.
he's awake. He's an early, he's a busy bee. You know him.
Yeah.
He will never
Hard
sleep
work,
in. Yeah, he's a hard worker. But some exciting things coming up on your Feel Good Breakfast show tomorrow. We're going to be catching up with Shaw Majosi.
Yeah.
who, of course,
Superstar.
finds out especially when it comes around to finances and how she's handled hers. That's going to be a very interesting topic.
All part of the Youth X platform, all part of our celebration of Youth Month, and of course, Youth Day is fast approaching.
Well, we're also going to be singing for you guys. You know, it's Karaoke Tuesday. It's going to be lots of fun, yeah?
Plenty more to give away. But a big thank you to all of our contributors today. It's been a wonderful show. We'll see you guys bright and early tomorrow. Adios.
Whether you're saying thank you or we believe in you, nothing says it quite like a home-cooked favorite. Made with love by Clover.
Another feel-good production.